4 on the clock. Pecan, 2 seconds. Pecan for the lead. Got it! He got the record at the buzzer! The bridge breaks for 3. Buried! Gallagher pulls up. Gallagher rims it out the field! Slams it down! Hooley up ahead. Dombrowski, the freshman, off the window and 1. Go back to Evans, corner 3, got it! There's Rowe with the exclamation point! As Dunny slams it down! Far side, Dawson unloads, knocks it home! Jenna Dawson! By Teslovich, Epps puts it on the floor. Bryce looks to drive in, Epps floats it up, got it! He got it! There's 1,000 for Bryce Epps!
It's a Friday night beach party here from James Weir Stadium on the campus of Bell Vernon High School as Division I athletes all around as the Leopards look to continue their 14-game winning streak against Rodney Gallagher and the Laurel Highlands Mustangs here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Alex Lyons with you for all the action here in this one on MVI Live and the network as Quinton Martin, Rodney Gallagher, former MVI SBL summer basketball teammates turn foe here once again this evening. Unable to see these two talented Division I athletes compete a season ago. Quinton Martin did not play in Bell Vernon's huge victory over the Laurel Highlands Mustangs, but Quinton Martin here in game number 1 of the season looks primed to break out once again, coming off a stellar sophomore campaign. Quinton Martin just one season ago, over 1,000 all-purpose yards, 931 on the ground, 10.5 yards per carry for Quinton Martin, 228 receiving yards and 14 touchdowns for Quinton Martin, the now junior Power 5 number 1 player in the state for the Bell Vernon Leopards. Speaking of Quinton Martin, make sure you stay tuned. Planet Roof halftime show here on MVI Live. I had the privilege of sitting down with the number 1 player in the state in Quinton Martin, so make sure you stay tuned for that coming up at the half. But Quinton Martin coming off a great sophomore campaign at the running back position. That was with the likes of Devin Whitlock at the helm at the quarterback position. No Whitlock, and he will be replaced. A pair of Orms looking to kind of fill the void that Devin Whitlock has left behind. Braden Locks, most likely we will see the 6'5" junior get the start here tonight. Tanner Stieber, the 6'1" senior, also expected to see time under center here this evening. Bell Vernon bouncing back to 3A for this season. And looking at that, the Bell Vernon Leopards have their eyes on the same prize a season ago that fell just short, and that's a WPIAL championship, as Bell Vernon will look to claim that here this season in 3A. But even though a lot of people considering it smooth sailing for the Bell Vernon Leopards, not necessarily that easy coming into this season, moving down to the Interstate Conference with the likes of Elizabeth Forward, who they'll end their season with. And when you look at a team like Elizabeth Forward, definitely someone that can give Bell Vernon some trouble. Very strong on the offensive and defensive line with a lot of skill on the outside as well. So as much as Bell Vernon thinks they should roll here in 3A on their way to a WPIO championship, Elizabeth Forward is going to be a team they have to get over first throughout the course of the season, as it is Laurel Highlands in front of them here this evening, as the Laurel Highlands Mustangs, of course, led by Rodney Gallagher. Position change this season for Gallagher, moving back outside to wide receiver. Hasn't seen action there since his freshman year, but that is where he will play at West Virginia in the wide receiver position. So bouncing there a year early as Rodney Gallagher. Offers, of course, throughout both sports, basketball and football, was a 3-star point guard come basketball season. He is a 2-time WPIAL champion, of course, with his basketball and football teammate Keandre Shields, who has Division I football offers as well. Sometimes gets overlooked by the likes of Rodney Gallagher. Penn West pregame show here on MVI Live, as you know, talked about the previous meetings. 14 straight wins for the Bell Vernon Leopards versus these Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Last time LH came out with a victory was at home for the Mustangs, 15-0 back in 2005. That was a season that Bell Vernon was unable to put one W in the win column, but since that 2005 year, Bell Vernon has absolutely rolled. 56-14 all-time against the Laurel Highlands Mustangs are the Bell Vernon Leopards. Bell Vernon also looking to defend the beach here tonight for the 19th straight game. Bell Vernon 18 straight wins here at home. They've won 26 of 27. Last loss here at James Weir Stadium came at the hands of the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars back in 2018, 36-14. And actually, Bell Vernon's last loss to a team not named Thomas Jefferson in the regular season, you have to go all the way back to 2016 when the Bell Vernon Leopards lost to the West Mifflin Titans. So Bell Vernon very good at home, very good in the regular season, and they look to continue that here tonight against Laurel Highlands and Bell Vernon. They have been great offensively and great defensively when it comes to Laurel Highlands. In the last 10 meetings between these two teams, Bell Vernon is averaging 46.7 points per game while giving up just 6.8 points. So Bell Vernon, they've been tough to deal with when it comes to offense and defense. Against these Laurel Highlands Mustangs, they'll look to put that into work once again tonight. We'll take a break here on the Penn West pregame show. When we come back, we'll have more for you as we near opening kickoff right here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Bring together expert faculty, offer programs in high-demand fields, add in a few centuries of tradition. You might call it the future of higher education. We're calling it Pennsylvania Western University. We've combined the resources of California, Clarion, and Edinburgh to create a new way to educate, where opportunities are boundless and tomorrow is yours to define. Built on tradition, built for your future. Welcome to Penn West.
Back here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Alex Lyons again with you for all the action here this evening between the Bell Vernon Leopards and the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. As again, Bell Vernon last year, no Quinton Martin. Jake Jedico stepped into that starting running back role for the Bell Vernon Leopards and absolutely was able to dominate against Laurel Highlands. And that's what Bell Vernon's been able to do to a lot of opponents, win the battle in the trenches. One time we saw them not do that a season ago came in the WPIAL championship game to the Aliquippa Quips, who have one of the biggest lines, not just in the entire WPIAL, but the entire city of Pittsburgh. 2 years ago, the biggest line, including Pitt, Duquesne, RMU, and the Steelers. Last year, they were the second biggest line in the city of Pittsburgh. They were able to dominate Bell Vernon in the trenches, and that's something Bell Vernon's going to look to do here tonight. Give Quinton Martin lots of lanes to run with and give their new quarterback a lot of time to manage, as Coach Matt Humbert looking for a lot of consistency and leadership out of that position. When you lose the likes of the electric player of Devin Whitlock, you have a lot to replace, and that's what Bell Vernon's going to look to do here with the likes of either Braden Locks or Tanner Stieber, who both saw action one season ago at quarterback. Stieber threw one pass, was 1 for 1. Locks was 3 for 5 for the Bell Vernon Leopards, as, again, expect to see Braden Locks get the start here. Locks, the 6'5 junior, and on the outside he has a great returning weapon in Evan Polott, basketball player as well. First team all-conference a season ago. First in receptions and first in yards with 18 and 341. As we'll take a break for the playing of the national anthem. We come back, we'll inch closer to opening kickoff between the Leopards and the Mustangs right here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Bring together expert faculty, offer programs in high-demand fields, add in a few centuries of tradition. You might call it the future of higher education. We're calling it Pennsylvania Western University. We've combined the resources of California, Clarion, and Edinburgh to create a new way to educate, where opportunities are boundless and tomorrow is yours to define. Built on tradition, built for your future. Welcome to Penn West.
Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress the right brands, price, and advice since 1946. Highway Appliance Furniture and Mattress is the Mon Valley's choice for selection, service, and savings for over 75 years. Highway Appliance Furniture and Mattress. You're going to like us a lot. We guarantee it. G-Force Athletic Club free after-school youth boxing program for ages 10 to 18, located at 338 Fallowfield Avenue in Charleroi. G-Force's certified USA boxing coaches provide training in amateur boxing, running, and weight training. G-Force also provide a positive environment and Christian mentoring for our rising generations. For more information, call 202-262-0584. Back here from James Weir Stadium as the Belle Vernon Leopards and Laurel Highlands Mustangs get set to do battle. As this is, again, Belle Vernon looking for win number 15 in a row against Laurel Highlands, as Belle Vernon has dominated the pace of play between these two teams who know each other very well. We saw them battle in basketball a season ago, an absolute thriller with Devin Whitlock, Rodney Gallagher, Keandre DeShields, and Quinton Martin all going toe-for-toe. And, of course, Brandon Davis, who no longer with the Laurel Highlands basketball program, but that was a lot of fun to watch those two teams do battle. And Laurel Highlands coming off a historic season from last year, 8-4 overall, 3-3 inside the Big 8 Conference with the likes of Belle Vernon, TJ, and McKeesport, featuring the star-studded running back of Bobby Boyd Jr. They finished 4th in that conference, lost in the quarterfinals to Aliquippa 36-0, but before that, it was a 28-27 win over Beaver. And the reason that's so big to point out, that was the first win in program history for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs in the playoffs against Beaver. In their 54 years, they do not have one conference championship to their name, and they have one playoff win, 1-10 overall in the WPIAL postseason. CJ Soltis will get the start tonight at the quarterback position. Second year with the LH program. Transferred from Uniontown last summer. Didn't get a full camp in. That's why they held Gallagher at the helm one more year. And now with playing wide receiver in college for West Virginia, will move back out to the perimeter, where last week he caught 4 touchdown passes, 5 total scores, 6 receptions for Rodney Gallagher for 17 yards. 1 week ago for Belle Vernon. This is their first game of the season. Last Friday they took on Franklin Regional in a scrimmage, second scrimmage of the season for them. First one came against the Gateway Gators, who are a 5A favorite led by Brad Birch, one of the best quarterbacks in the WPIAL and the entire state. Him along with Caden Olson from Armstrong, really the top 2 guys you look at when it comes to quarterback play in the WPIAL. As again, we inch closer to the Leopards taking the field. Take a look at the offensive lines. First for the Leopards, Dane Levi, Zach May, along with Luke Breyer, Dylan DeWitt, and Steven Macheska. The men blocking for Quinton Martin and Braden Lux here this evening. As some big names to replace for Belle Vernon coming into the season. We talked about that coming into this game. Of course, the loss of Devin Whitlock, but on the defensive side of the ball, a huge loss in the likes of Cole Waitman. Waitman, an absolute stud on the defensive side of the ball now at IUP. 86 tackles a season ago led the team. Also 9 sacks for Cole Waitman. So that will be a big replacement having Waitman not on the roster this year. Also a stellar wrestler for the Belle Vernon Leopards. Lost to Brian Finnery of the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars in the heavyweight division of the state championship games. The privilege of covering that as the American flags held by the offensive lineman as Belle Vernon gets set to take the field down to our left as we near ever closer to Belle Vernon and Laurel Highlands as Belle Vernon, again, dominating the overall series, but so much hype, so much recognition around this game when you have 2 Power 5 players, one committed to West Virginia, the other with 16 Division I offers in Quinton Martin to schools like Penn State, West Virginia, Ohio State, Texas, Wisconsin, Virginia Tech, Texas A&M, Pitt, Michigan, Tennessee, Syracuse, Rutgers, Notre Dame, Michigan State, Kentucky, Florida State, as The Laurel Highlands Mustangs will take the field on the near side, led by their star wide receiver, Rodney Gallagher. 2,000 all-purpose yards a season ago for Rodney Gallagher. Again, he will do his best to try and limit the production of Quinton Martin. Should be a fun matchup with Quinton moving to cornerback this year to see how that matchup plays out, or is it going to be Martin going up against the other Division I wide receiver and Keandre DeShields, who has 2 division offers, one to St. Francis, the other to Walsh University, who's offered a pair of local athletes here in the Mon Valley, and that being the likes of Johnny DiNapoli and Zach Boyd from Elizabeth Forward. As nearing closer to opening kickoff here, as appreciate all you tuning in here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. As for the first time this season, Bell Vernon takes the field, looking to defend the beach one more time. 19 wins in a row here at home is the objective for Bell Vernon if they can defeat the Laurel Highlands Mustangs for the 15th time in a row. Again, a lot of weapons returning, a lot of big losses to replace, but Bell Vernon prime for another deep run into the postseason. Coach Matt Humbert thinks this could be the year that his team finally gets over the hump and gets that elusive WPIAL championship, saying his team has to stay hungry, and that's something they're going to look to do early on. They are going to be favored in every single game, and kind of the way I think almost every single game, maybe besides that Thomas Jefferson game, be interested to see how that is, but TJ got absolutely blown out of the water in their first game of the season to a powerhouse up in New Jersey. So be interesting to see what Thomas Jefferson has. We'll have that game later on this season between Bell Vernon and TJ, but you know, Bell Vernon moving down to 3A, when they announced that they were coming down to 3A, the thought process about Bell Vernon was kind of the money line on Ohio State this year. Double-digit favor in every single game. And that's kind of what a lot of people thought about Bell Vernon coming into this season, at least in their 3A schedule, that it'd be double-digit victories in every single game. They have to be able to find a way to stay hungry. They have to find a way to not get ahead of themselves, play one game at a time, and make sure you put yourself in the right decision come the end of the season. Bell Vernon, it's going to start with step number 1. Make the playoffs for the 14th straight year. Make the semifinals for the 6th straight year. Make the championship for the 2nd straight year, and find a way to get the victory. As it's Stephen Macheska, Chase Rakonen, Evan Polott, and Parker Julier captains for the Bell Vernon Leopards. On the other side of things, for the Laurel Highland Mustangs, there's going to be Ben Wilson, Leland Lehue, Cam Bradley, and Rodney Gallagher. And Stephen Macheska, an interesting tidbit about the one Ringgold captain, actually getting ahead of myself, Bell Vernon captain, a defenseman for Coach Rick Kalinowski on the Ringgold Rams hockey team. So an interesting tidbit there about Stephen Macheska. We'll get to see him later on in the season. Come hockey season, Ringgold will have a lot to replace on that program, but Stephen Macheska most likely will be coming back, as we will wait to see who gets the ball to start this game. As no injuries for Laurel Highlands coming into play, as got a email from head coach Rick Kulasar this morning saying that both Billy Barton and Cam Bradley were cleared to play. That was up in the air early in the week. Appreciate him, of course, being so helpful coming into this week, giving me all the information I need to help pass it along to all you here this evening. And, of course, make sure you stay up to date. Tomorrow on MVI Live, we'll have a full day of soccer games. The Mo Rosensteel kickoff tournament from Norwin High School, as LH will get the ball to start this one, and they'll send Rodney Gallagher and CJ Soltis out early on. But, you look at that with Rodney Gallagher moving to the outside, moving back to wide receiver. Yes, that may be his best position. Absolutely. But a big issue with Rodney Gallagher moving back to the outside for this Laurel Highlands squad is the fact that last year, every single offensive play, Rodney Gallagher touched the football. That will not be the case come this season. He does take snaps at quarterback every single practice, but again, playing wide receiver in college, you have to think, even though they say it really doesn't, you kind of have to think that does have something to do with Rodney Gallagher moving back to the wide receiver position this year. As Another replacement we didn't talk about will be at the kicking position for the Bell Vernon Leopards. Tyler Kovac gone to graduation, so it's going to be Willie Schwara doing the honors for Coach Matt Humbert, both kicking and punting duty. Back deep to receive for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs is going to be Antoine Black Jr., the 6'1 sophomore. Stationed at the 20-yard line. In front of him is Kuzier and Keandre DeShields. As for the first time this season, Bell Vernon gets set to play some live football action, some meaningful football for the Bell Vernon Leopards, as Willie Schwara gets set to send this one away and send the 2022 campaign underway for the Bell Vernon Leopards as foot meets ball, and we're underway here in week 1 of the WPIAL. It's Keandre DeShields from the 15 up over the 20. DeShields pushes his way over the 30 and falls forward down to the 35, and that's where Laurel Highlands will start out as Keandre DeShields, the up man, takes it to the far side of the field, and that's where Laurel Highlands will bring the offense to work with 11:54 remaining here in half number 1. Ball lies on the LH 35. CJ Soltis in the gun, trips to the near side. Rodney Gallagher lined up tight with Evan Polott on the far side. Antoine Black Jr. sidecarring. Soltis looks to pass, has time, looks for Gallagher. Feet ties up and incomplete as he was working on Evan Polott. But 0 for 1 goes CJ Soltis, missing Rodney Gallagher after Evan Polott, who has went to a number of Division I camps through the last couple years. One of the captains here tonight for the Bell Vernon Leopards. And a big player to watch is going to be Jake Jedico as well from that outside linebacker spot for the Leopards. Caleb Rafel is the man who Quinton Martin will be guarding on the near side. CJ Soltis gets the snap. Has time. Now pressure coming from the outside. Over the middle looking for DeShields. Incomplete. And CJ Soltis 0 for 2 on his first 2 attempts with 11:45 remaining. It's 3rd down and 10. Bell Vernon looking to force the 3 and out. You know, of course, you look at comparisons now for Quinton Martin moving to the outside. Big body, 6'3", 200-pound cornerback. You got to look no further than to the man who coaches James Franklin will be here tonight, and the man he coaches, and Joey Porter Jr., very similar style player to Quinton Martin, a big-bodied cornerback, as Soltis on 3rd and 10 looks to throw. Pressure coming, rolls right. Soltis fires downfield, overshoots Keandre DeShields by about 15 yards, and Bell Vernon forces the 3 and out with 11:39 remaining here in half number 1. Three and out goes Laurel Highlands, and Bell Vernon will take over for the first time. Back deep to receive is Keandre DeShields as Harry Radcliffe will get set to punt from his own 20-yard line. Radcliffe last week set the school record, knocking a 53-yard field goal. Drop snap, and Bell Vernon's going to take advantage. A muffed snap, and it's Chase Rakoning recovering inside the 25 as the Leopards in business early on. Chase Rakonen puts Bell Vernon in business here early on. 11:33 remaining, half number 1. 1st down and 10. Ball at the Laurel Highlands 23. And it is the big 6'5" junior Braden Locks out to take the first snaps this season at quarterback. Quinton Martin on the near side. Locks looks to throw. Locks wheel route. Martin underthrows him as Martin slides down, looking to readjust on the far side of the field. As first pass for Braden Locks this season, a little errant. Looking for Martin streaking out of the backfield. Second down and 10. Braden Locks breaks the huddle. Leading them to the line is Luke Breyer. Locks has Martin to his right. Rakonen far side in motion. Polott near side. Handoff. Martin up the middle. Quinton cuts it outside. Martin 10-5. Touchdown Leopards. Quinton Martin one carry, one score, as from 23 yards out, Quinton Martin wasting no time. As Bell Vernon, 2 plays, 23 yards, and the Leopards in business early on. Huge hole opened up on the left side for Quinton Martin. Bell Vernon just 10 seconds to go 23 yards, as it's going to be Willie Schwara. Schwara, the lefty, gets set. 6-0 Leopards lead here, half number 1. Good hold, kick up, kick is over the catch net, and it's 7-0 Bell Vernon here in half number 1, as a 2-play, 23-yard drive for the Bell Vernon Leopards results with a Quinton Martin touchdown, his first of the season for Quinton Martin. As Bell Vernon taking advantage, opportunistic, something else that Coach Matt Humbert talked a lot about this season, saying the offense had to take advantage of all opportunities that they had and take advantage inside the red zone, be balanced. 2 plays, 1 pass, 1 run, resulted in a touchdown, and they were opportunistic off the turnover, so a lot of boxes checked here in the early going for head coach Matt Humbert in game number 1, as Quinton Martin has started the scoring. Again, coming up at the half here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network, the Planet Roof halftime show with an interview with Bell Vernon's very own Quinton Martin, so make sure you tune in for that. A lot of fun, again, sitting down with Quinton and talking to him. Some unique topics came up and some really good answers from the young man who was so sought after in the one world. As back deep to receive again will be Antoine Black Jr. 0 for 3 went Laurel Highlands on passing attempts on their first drive. 7-0 Bell Vernon leads here in this one. Bell Vernon has absolutely dominated. Has not lost to Laurel Highlands since 2005, when it was a 15-0 win for Laurel Highlands. But LH coming off a big victory, 50-6 a week ago against the Uniontown Red Raiders. But the interesting thing about that game, we talked about Gallagher, 4 touchdowns, and Rodney Gallagher, 6 receptions, just 17 yards. Only 110 yards of total offense for Laurel Highlands to put up 50 points. Talk about a team being truly opportunistic. That is what Laurel Highlands was a week ago, as Willie Schwara gets set to kick this one off again. Schwara, the lefty, sends it away again. This time it will make it back to Black Jr. as he backpedals to his own 5. Black Jr. to the near side, cuts inside, near side hash, and ripped down by the defense of the Bell Vernon Leopards. First one to meet him there was Jake Jetico, along with Sasko. Actually, that was Adam LeCart, not Jetico, 19 instead of 10. But that was set Laurel Highlands up on their second drive. Not even a minute gone here in this game. Just 11:16 remaining here in half number 1. LH from their own 32-yard line.
Number 15, 10-yard penalty. First down.
Actually, we're going to back up. There was a 10-yard penalty on Laurel Highlands, so that will move the ball back to the 22-yard line. So a bigger hole dug in for C.J. Soltis and the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Keandre DeShields lined up with Quinton Martin on the near side, trips far side. As Antoine Black Jr. sidecarring the quarterback, Soltis. Soltis pitches it out. Antoine Black cuts back inside, gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's where Braden Locks drives him into the ground for a gain of none. As Braden Locks off the edge quickly in pursuit of Antoine Black Jr., and it's 2nd down and 10 here for the Mustangs. Laurel Highlands again struggling to move the ball. They had a lot of short fields to work with last year, and that has not been the case here in their first 2 drives. Gallagher and DeShields slide out far side. Near side is Ben Wilson. Black to the right of the quarterback, C.J. Soltis. The 6'1", 175 senior. Wilson in motion, gets it off the direct snap, and the whistle blows and a flag comes out. First flag of the game we've seen here. Or second, excuse me. First non-special teams flag. As it's going to go against the Laurel Highlands. A false start on the Mustangs will march them back 5 yards, and it's 2nd down and 15. Now for Laurel Highlands. As from bad to worse for the Mustangs. 3 incomplete passes and a muff snap on the punt attempt to start, and a 23-yard touchdown run by Quinton Martin. And now they've moved backwards with 2 penalties and a run for nothing. Soltis in the gun again, sidecarring left is Black to Shields near side, trips to the far side. Soltis, little trouble with it, now has time, airs one out, looking for Gallagher, has it for a second, and bounces off the turf, incomplete. As Rodney Gallagher unable to haul that one in. Adam LaCarthe, the safety, providing help over the top. And it's 3rd down and 15 for Laurel Highlands with 10:04 remaining here in the half. Rodney Gallagher again playing his final year of high school football. Also some laundry on the field right around the original line of scrimmage. Possibly a holding call, and that is indeed what it is. As the hold on Hunter Rabb is declined, and it is going to be 3rd down and 15 for Laurel Highlands. Talked about comparisons for Quinton Martin earlier. Comparison being thrown out for Rodney Gallagher. NFL comparison now is Jahan Dotson of the Washington Commanders. Very similar style type player to Rodney Gallagher. Strong, elusive back or wide receiver, I should say. Soltis airmails one out again, looking for Gallagher again, lays out and out of the reach of Rodney Gallagher. As another forced look at Gallagher and another 3 and out for Laurel Highlands. 4th down and 15. Ball lies on Laurel Highlands' 17. Radcliffe will try to have better luck this time. Muffed the snap on the first one, resulting in a recovery by Chase Rakonen. See if Radcliffe, the record holder in field goal length, can get this one away. He will. End over end. Doesn't make its way to Martin and out of bounds. And it's going to be great field position again for the Leopards at the Laurel Highlands 45. So Bell Vernon will take over, 1st down and 10 with 9:54 remaining here in half number 1. Ball lies on the Laurel Highlands 45. Hasn't made its way past midfield besides the 2 kickoffs we've had, as everything's been down to our right. As Bell Vernon flexing their dominance once again against Laurel Highlands. Year in and year out. This time it's Jake Jedico in the backfield to the left of Braden Locks. One receiver near side, Colton Lee. 2 on the far side. Handoff, Jedico. Jedico tries to bounce it outside, and he's met in the backfield and driven backwards. As first man there was John Pletcher, driving him backwards. Pletcher, the returning leading tackler for the Mustangs from a season ago. Loss of 5 on the play, 2nd down and 15. Jedico carried the load and ran all over the Mustangs a season ago with Quinton Martin unable to go, but Martin back into the game. 2 receivers far side, Martin to the left of Locks. Locks rolling left. Locks looking to pass. Locks lofts one up, and that one's complete right around the lead stick to Evan Polott. Polott will look at a 3rd and 2. For Bell Vernon, a gain of 13 as Locks completes his first pass of the season. And Braden Locks, built like a quarterback, 6'5", 215 for the junior. Going to see a much bigger role both football and basketball season, most likely. Locks quarterback draw. Locks breaks a tackle in the backfield. Locks right up the middle, plows the man over as Braden Locks inside the 25 and down to the 22 as he ran over Antoine Black Jr., who was eventually able to stop him down, but another 1st down for the Bell Vernon Leopards. back into the red zone. As Locks will rejoin the huddle, 8:55 and rolling here in the first quarter. 7-0 your score in favor of Bell Vernon. Quinton Martin scored from 23 yards out. He'll be to the right of Braden Locks. Chase Rakonen on the far side. Near side, Evan Polott. Locks looks to throw again, picks up a block from Martin, a little far and out of the reach of Chase Rakonen, laying out on the far sideline. Chase Rakonen also part of the Bell Vernon Leopards baseball team. Rakonen far side. Near side again, Evan Polott. Martin in the backfield. Two tight ends set. Handoff goes to Martin. Martin bounces outside. Quinton breaking through again. And Quinton walks the tightrope in out of bounds with a flag down inside the 9-yard line. Wait to see what the call is, but Quinton Martin was scampering towards the goal line once again. As a conclave by the officials with 8:30 remaining here in quarter number 1. 7-0 the Bell Vernon Leopards lead thanks to Quinton Martin. As this one will come back as Chase Rakonen on the outside. Held off, but at the spot of the hold, it looks like Bell Vernon still will gain a couple yards here. So second down and appears to be 6 for the Bell Vernon Leopards. Again, first game of the season for Bell Vernon, opting to not play a week 0 game, but instead play another scrimmage with a team in the likes of Franklin Regional. Rakonen in motion. Locks gets the snap. Braden Locks looks to throw. Locks fires into the flat, and that's broken up by a diving linebacker in the forms of Parker Huff. Third down and 7 with 8:26 remaining here in half number 1. As Bell Vernon bringing in some substitutions. Rakonen and Colton Lee out. Jake Jedico checking back in. Martin now lines up as the receiver goes in motion. Martin now handoff Jedico, and Jedico met immediately, pushes his way forward. Jake Jedico inside the 15 and down to the 14-yard line, where he's stopped by a host of Mustangs. Also in on the tackle again was Parker Huff. And now it's decision time for head coach Matt Humbert with 8:08 remaining in the first quarter and a 7-0 Bell Vernon lead. Offense looks to stay on the field. Fourth down and manageable for the Leopards. Bunched formation, 3 backs behind Locks. See if they let the big quarterback take it himself. They will. They push him forward, and Braden Locks, his second rushing first down of the game, as he'll get down to the 10-yard line, and it's first down. And depending on the spot, could be goal for the Bell Vernon Leopards, as a Mustang slowly will make his way back up to his feet. That being, or looked like he was going to, is Brad Smith. Eventually will get back up, and he will be replaced, as Brad Smith will have Billy Barton come in for him. A little slow to get up. 3:45 remaining here in the half. First down and 10 as they mark it at the 12-yard line. Was still enough for the first down by Braden Locks. Thinking, do we have a timeout here by Bell Vernon, as they were all huddled up on the sideline. Didn't see any signal, but nonetheless, back on the field. First down and 10. Ball lies just outside the 10-yard line at the 11. 7:45 remaining, half number 1. Locks in the gun. Martin to his right, trips to the near side. Locks looks for a quick hitter, finds Evan Polott. Polott makes one move. Polott falling forward inside the 10, down to the 9. A game of 2 for Evan Polott, his second reception of the game. As Tucker and Gallagher combined for the stop for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. 7-0 the Leopards lead with 7:18 and counting here on a rolling first quarter clock. Quinton Martin from 23 yards out on his first touch of the season. Polot, Racone, and Colton Lee far side. Quinton Martin flanks to the left of Braden Locks as well. Locks gets the snap, handoff, Martin. Martin up the middle, Quinton down to the 5, and he's spun down there. As getting a piece of him was Billy Barton once again. And it's going to be 3rd down for the Leopards from the 6-yard line. As checking back in, great to see Brad Smith come back in for Laurel Highlands. Locks back to the huddle. 3rd down and 6 for Bell Vernon. Bell Vernon, of course, coming off a runner-up season to Aliquippa last year in the WPIAL 4A championship as Locks. Handoff again. Martin met immediately and driven backwards. First contact, Tristan Baker. As Quinton nowhere to go. As also joining in on the stop was McCoy as the 2 linebackers meet Martin. And it's 4th down and around 7 for Bell Vernon. As it's going to be a choice for Matt Humbert to decide to go for it once again. Dealing again with a new kicker this season for Bell Vernon. Bell Vernon needs 8, 4th down and 8. Ball just inside the 10, whistle blows. And a timeout called by Bell Vernon as Matt Humbert will talk things over. First timeout of the half used by the Bell Vernon Leopards. 7-0 Bell Vernon leads here, working on their second drive of the game, trying to find pay dirt against Rodney Gallagher and the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. As a lot of time has been given so far to the junior quarterback, Braden Locks, of course, taking over for Devin Whitlock this season. And as much as that is a huge loss, you're also losing Cole Waitman, who is probably the most overlooked loss for this Bell Vernon team from last year. Led them in tackles and sacks with 86 and 9. As Cole Waitman, one of those guys that could absolutely do it all on the football field. Very impressive what he was able to do. He is playing for IUP now. As Bell Vernon looks like they are going to keep the offense on the field here for this 4th down and 8. Ball will lie about half a yard inside the 10. And of course, last night, if you are following all the great work we do at the Mon Valley Independent, that Huddle Picks started last night with 3 games, the Cal Vulcans game and Fairmont State, Pitt, West Virginia, Penn State, Purdue. So the first 3 games. This is one of the Huddle Pick games as well. As handoff, Martin on 4th and 8. Bounces outside, Quinton diving pylon, and Quinton Martin gets in on 4th and 8. Quinton Martin from 10 yards out. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns for the junior running back. As Quinton Martin showing off the strength, getting to the edge and getting to the goal line for his 2nd score of the evening. A 10-yard touchdown run by Quinton Martin. Schwera will come out once again. And Schwera. Tanner Stieber will do the holding. Good snap, good hold. Schwera sends it up, and that one sails just through on the left side. And it's 14-0 Leopards here in the early going as 2 drives, 2 3-and-outs for Laurel Highlands, 2 drives and 2 Quinton Martin touchdowns for the Bell Vernon Leopards. As it's been a much better start for Bell Vernon to this season than Laurel Highlands here in week 1. Again, Laurel Highlands opted for the week 0 game. Bell Vernon did not. Bell Vernon, they have done a great job clogging up the lanes, giving nothing to this Laurel Highlands offense, and that defense will go back to work. Laurel Highlands now in the Big 7 conference. Was previously the Big 8, but you look at, still have the likes of McKeesport, Ringgold, Thomas Jefferson, Trinity, Latrobe, and Connellsville. They make up the Big 7 conference, which was really a murderer's row once McKeesport got down into the Big 8 conference, with how those teams were able to kind of beat up on each other, a lot of talents. And, you know, Bell Vernon, they will also have McKeesport on their schedule. That's next week for the Bell Vernon Leopards on the road at McKeesport to face the Wing T triple option and Bobby Boyd Jr., another Division I prospect. And that's one of the things you'll hear me talk about with Quinton at the half is the ability to play against Division I talent week in and week out. Rodney Gallagher here tonight, Bobby Boyd Jr. next week. We've seen Penn Trafford produce Division I talent last year with Cade Yacomelli coming out of there. And then the next week with Jordan Mayer, who is going to Wisconsin from Thomas Jefferson. Then you have Deshaun Carter from South Allegheny, who's a Division I prospect. And then fast forward to the end of the season, Zach Boyd and Johnny DiNapoli, who both have Division I offers. And I think that's just such a great thing that, sometimes when you're coming out of these smaller areas, you don't get that Division I competition. But for a guy like Quinton Martin, he is getting that almost week in and week out. And Quinton just celebrated his 16th birthday earlier this week and celebrating in style here on Friday night with 2 touchdowns. Schwara once again will get set to send this one off from his own 40-yard line. Again, make sure you tune in at the half, MVI Live halftime interview with Quinton Martin. Of course, the Trib Live High School Sports Network halftime show with Chris Harlan and Don Rebel is from the far side, running into his own man and getting knocked down on the return was Caleb Rafel. As Laurel Highlands will start inside their own 25 at the 23-yard line, trying to find luck, hoping third time is the charm for the Mustangs here in this one. 5:26 remaining in the first half. 35, 22, and 23, the 3 starting field positions for Laurel Highlands. Laurel Highlands negative yards on the day. That due to penalties. No actual yards given. Rodney Gallagher back in at quarterback for the first time today. We saw that last season as Gallagher was the starter. Gallagher hands it off far side. Antoine Black Jr. penetrating forward. And Antoine Black Jr. a short game before he's knocked down by Braden Locks. Gets over the 25 to the 26-yard line, and that's going to set up second down for Laurel Highlands. 5:05 remaining in a rolling first quarter clock. 14-0 Bell Vernon leads. Gallagher in the gun. Rodney Gallagher gets the snap. Handoff fake. Gallagher keeps it. Bounces out far side. There goes Gallagher. Gets to the sideline and is knocked out of bounds there as Rodney Gallagher about a yard short of the lead stick. And they were trying to get C.J. Stoltis to get the ball into the hands of Rodney Gallagher. He was unable to. And in the Penn West California pregame, we talked about every play last year. Rodney Gallagher got to touch the football. At wide receiver, he does not. So here in drive number 3, some moving of the ball for Laurel Highlands with Gallagher in at QB. The Shields in motion across the pattern. Trips near side, 1 receiver far side. Black moves to the left of Rodney Gallagher. Gallagher gets the snap. Quick hitter, that's to DeShields, and DeShields knocked down in the backfield. It's Alonzo Wade. As Wade, a big-time hit on Keandre DeShields, knocking him back. Alonzo didn't play football a season ago, but a 4-yard tackle for a loss there for Alonzo Wade. 4th down and 5. Gallagher and the offense stay on. Jumping was Parker Joel, and the flag flies. Great job by Gallagher on the hard snap. As Parker Joel jumped across the line, forcing the movement and forcing the flag. Actually, it is going to be encroachment on Joel, and that is going to be a first down. So LH, their first down of the game. Comes off a Bell Vernon miscue. Rodney Gallagher in the gun again. Trips far side, 1 receiver near side, and Wilson. Gallagher pitches it out to the sophomore Black. Black bounces outside. Black gets around a pair, and chasing him back down from behind was Parker Joel, knocking him down just past the 40-yard line at about The 40.5 actually going to mark it back to the 40 with 4:04 and counting here in the first quarter. 14-0, Bell Vernon leads on a pair of Quinton Martin touchdowns, 23 and 10 yards out. Gallagher once again taking over quarterback here in drive number 3. Low snap, Gallagher has time. Gallagher steps up and down goes Rodney Gallagher. First sack of the season, it's Dane Levi and some more laundry on the field. As Dane Levi knocks down Gallagher at the 35. And a penalty against Bell Vernon once again gives Laurel Highlands a first down out to midfield.
Dead ball foul after the play. Personal foul, number 70.
Levi the sack and then the personal. So Dane Levi didn't see him do anything, so you wonder if something was said after the sack of Rodney Gallagher. 3:43 and counting here in the first. Gallagher gets the snap. Pitches out to Black Jr. Black Jr. over the 50, knocked down from behind. As chasing him down on the near side was Steven Macheska. As Aiden Johnson in there as well for the Bell Vernon Leopards. Gain of 1 for Black Jr. 3:20 and counting here in half number 1. Quarter number 1, excuse me. Gallagher has Black Jr. with him. Near side will be Kusher and Wilson. The Shields to the far side. Kusher in motion. Gallagher looks to throw off the fake jet sweep. Pressure coming. Gallagher rolls out. Gallagher fires to the lead. Stick down to a knee. It's Keandre to Shields. And it's going to be third down and about an inch. As great improvising by Rodney Gallagher to find Keandre to Shields on the far side. Third down and 1 now for Laurel Highlands. Looking for their first down, not via penalty here tonight. With that completion, first time Laurel Highlands has been in Bell Vernon real estate. Gallagher pulls it out of the pocket of Black, and he's met in the backfield. Rodney Gallagher stuffed as it's Tanner Moody lowering the boom on Gallagher. Ball back to the 45-yard line. So third and an inch brings up 4th and 5. And the offense once again for Laurel Highlands is going to stay on the field. Rodney Gallagher in the gun, 2 receivers aside. The Shields and Rayful switch positions. Pull out in the grill of Keandre to Shields. Gallagher looks to throw. Locks coming. Gallagher rolls out. Fires to Shields again. Short of the lead stick. Breaks the tackle. Keandre to Shields pushing his way to the 30. The Shields inside the 30. Down at the 27. As Keandre to Shields showing off his athleticism. Short of the lead stick. Broke a tackle. And Keandre to Shields on 4th and 5. Picks up the first. Gallagher, high snap, he'll haul it down and take it himself. Breaks outside, flag comes flying in from around the 5-yard line as Rodney Gallagher picked up about 2. Last season at the quarterback position for Rodney Gallagher. 1,365 passing yards, 1,130 rushing yards with 34 total touchdowns. As Rayful picks up the holding penalty with 1:04 remaining here in the half. $14-0 Bell Vernon leads here in half number 1. Gallagher in the gun. Rodney gets the high snap, pressure coming, sends one up. He's looking for the Shields and just out of the reach of Keandre to Shields. Keandre DeShields, an outstanding athlete. You know, I was always surprised that football was the sport for DeShields. A heck of a basketball player for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. We had the privilege of having Keandre DeShields in the MVI SBL for a season, part of our Howard Hanna squad. Rodney Gallagher, of course, was part of that as well, was teammates with Quinton Martin for B Graphics. They went 2 for 2 in championships. DeShields, Lehue near side with Kusher. Wilson far side. Gallagher fakes the handoff. Pressure coming. Gallagher running for his life, falls down, and falling on him, which forces the penalty, is Aiden Johnson. Just fell on Rodney Gallagher, who was down once he slid. So a miscue by the Bell Vernon defense would have been 3rd down and another area code for Laurel Highlands. Instead, it's another personal foul, the second one of this drive, and Laurel Highlands continues to have life, down 2 scores here in quarter number 1. Would have been back at the 45-yard line. Instead, the ball moves all the way up inside the 35 to the 34. So a big swing there. Gallagher, screen pass, Antoine Black gets around 1. Here comes Black Jr. Tries to bounce outside, but Alonzo Wade says no around the original line of scrimmage as he's inside the 30 to the 29. Alonzo Wade stops him well short.
What's wrong with Steve?
4th down and 11, and Coach Colasar all drive has said we're staying on the field on 4th down no matter the distance. They've converted once via penalty, once via Keandre DeShields. Can they do it again? DeShields on the near side. Kusher in motion. Gallagher has Black to his right. Now it's trips on the far side. Gallagher hauls it in, looks for DeShields. Keandre knocked down, and there's some more laundry as Keandre DeShields knocked down. As guarding Keandre on the near side was the freshman Diabre Lightfoot. A bit of a mismatch there with Diabre Lightfoot and Keandre DeShields. Diabre just 5'10" compared to Keandre 6'4" frame, and the freshman just hauled him down. Some of those learning curves, but Diabre Lightfoot's definitely going to be somebody who Bell Vernon's going to love having, not just in football, but basketball as well. We already saw what he could do this summer, but another 1st down via a penalty. Pass interference gives the Mustangs a 1st down. Gallagher in the gun again. 2.2 on the clock here, quarter number 1. Gallagher will pull it out. Gallagher tries to drive forward back towards the original line of scrimmage, and he's knocked down short by Macheska Tanner Moody in there as well. As that will bring us to the end of quarter number 1, and after 1, your score, Bell Vernon 14. Laurel Highlands nothing but driving right here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Planet Roof, Pittsburgh's top roofing company, goes above and beyond to give customers the best experience possible. At Planet Roof, we pay close attention to the quality of our work in your home. Our roofers are committed professionals with years of experience who will go above and beyond for all of our clients' needs. Because at Planet Roof, we love what we do. For more information, contact us today at 724-243-3297 or visit our website, planetroof.com.
Bring together expert faculty. Offer programs in high-demand fields. Add in a few centuries of tradition. You might call it the future of higher education. We're calling it Pennsylvania Western University. We've combined the resources of California, Clarion, and Edinburgh to create a new way to educate, where opportunities are boundless and tomorrow is yours to define. Built on tradition, built for your future. Welcome to Penn West.
Marble Diamonds and Jewelry, a third-generation family-owned and operated business since 1964. Whether you are looking to propose, promise, celebrate, or surprise, Marbills has the expertise, selection, and price to make your shopping experience relaxed and easy. Visit our showroom located at 112 Pricedale Road in Bell Vernon or call us at 724-929-6633. Marble Diamonds and Jewelry, your journey, your jeweler.
Back here on MVI Live as second down and 12 for Laurel Highlands. Coming off that again, pass interference by Bell Vernon, giving them that first down on 4th and 11. Second fourth down given to Laurel Highlands via the penalty for Bell Vernon. First an encroachment back on LH's own side of the field, as right now they have controlled for 5 minutes and 26 seconds. As first quarter dominated by Bell Vernon, 2 drives, 2 touchdowns. Quinton Martin with both of them. Both to that far side pylon. Trips far side, Gallagher in the gun with Black to his right, near side. That's Kusher now, he'll motion. Back inside, getting the signs from Rodney Gallagher. Didn't take long into the season talking to Brian Morozak, who sees the Mustangs a lot more, saying CJ Soltis really was struggling in that first week, and it didn't take long here in this one to see the changing of the guards with Rodney Gallagher coming back in at quarterback. Said he takes snaps every single practice at that position. $14-0, the Leopards lead. Third non-conference meeting between Bell Vernon and Laurel Highlands since 2003. First 2 did go to Bell Vernon. Again, Martin didn't play 1 season ago between these 2 teams. It was Jake Jedico who really carried the load. Absolutely outstanding was Jake Jedico for Bell Vernon. When you're able to give Martin blows as well offensively, especially playing both sides of the ball, and you have Jake Jedico, that's going to be a big advantage throughout the course of the season for Bell Vernon. Gallagher in the gun, 2 receivers aside. The Shields in motion. Gallagher gets the snap, has time. Gallagher now steps up around Levi. Gallagher going to run. Gallagher cuts far side. Rodney continues to bounce inside the 10, down to the 5. Gallagher breaks the tackle, pylon towards the corner, and Rodney Gallagher winds up just short of the goal line. Magical for Rodney Gallagher. And Laurel Highlands knocking on the door of their first score of the evening. First down and goal from the 1. Rodney Gallagher, 5 touchdowns a week ago. The Shields far side with Wilson. 2 receivers to the near side. Black with Gallagher. Gallagher under center. Rodney Gallagher, quarterback sneak. Gallagher, he's not going to get there as the Bell Vernon defensive line stiffens. As all of the Bell Vernon front 4 led the push. As the QB sneak does not work, as we'll see some substitutions. Jaden Tucker checking into the game. Rodney Gallagher coming out into the game is Johnny Duke, 3rd quarterback. I formation, near side to Shields. It's Johnny Duke, the 5'11 senior under center. Duke sends a man in motion, hands up to the up back, and stops short again. It's John Pletcher. As the fullback, John Pletcher, unable to get there. Johnny Duke checks in here at the 1-yard line, hands it off to Pletcher after the quarterback sneak by Gallagher didn't get there. As now Gallagher in the gun. Third different formation we've seen from the 1-yard line. First two didn't succeed for Laurel Highlands. And a flag was attempted to be thrown by the official, but I think whistle first, and maybe a timeout was given to Laurel Highlands. So Laurel Highlands is able to prevent that penalty, as two attempts from the 1-yard line and to no avail. Rodney Gallagher on 1st and goal. On the quarterback sneak, no good. Then Johnny Duke checked in. He was unable to get in on the handoff to Pletcher. And now we're going to look at 3rd down and goal from the 1. Can Laurel Highlands find a way to break through? Very interesting drive so far for Laurel Highlands. Rodney Gallagher checks in at quarterback. And an encroachment call for a 1st down, 15-yard personal foul, brought the ball to midfield afterwards. And then saw another personal foul after Gallagher fell down, giving them new life, and eventually a 4th down and 5 completion for Keandre to Shields. And then it was a 4th and 11 pass interference by Diabre Lightfoot, eventually leading to a great Gallagher scamper setting up this opportunity, but first 2 times did not go the way of the Mustangs. In tight is Wilson and Kuzer. Gallagher has Jaden Tucker, the backup tailback, to his right now. To Shields will head to the backfield, and they'll bring the line back in. Back to the huddle goes Laurel Highlands. Jaden Tucker, a 5'11", 190 junior. Back to the right of Gallagher is a bunch formation here for Laurel Highlands. Bell Vernon trying to hold strong in the red zone. Gallagher motions Tucker. 3rd down and goal from the 1. Gallagher gets the snap. Gallagher pushes left side, and Gallagher once again, he stopped short. Rodney Gallagher could not get there. Stephen Macheska and the Bell Vernon defensive line says no. But you know Laurel Highlands, the way they've worked this drive, it's 4 down territory. Same formation. Gallagher tries right side this time, and Gallagher won't get there. The defense stiffens. Martin fired up. Bell Vernon holds. 4 chances from the 1. Gallagher could not get there. What a sequence by the Bell Vernon defensive front. Went to the right with it, went to the left with it, did not work. Went to the right, and Bell Vernon was ready. Rodney Gallagher, 3 opportunities. The other one went to Pletcher. And Bell Vernon able to hold on 4th down and goal. As their drive started with 5:26 remaining in the first quarter. And ends with 9:55 remaining in quarter number 2. First down and 10 for Bell Vernon at their own 1-yard line. By far, might be their own 2. Worst starting field position for Bell Vernon, but I'm sure they'll take it as their defense stiffened. Bell Vernon from their own 2. Looks like it's now Stieber in at quarterback. He'll get that's Jedico and the Wildcat. As Jake Jedico takes the direct snap for 8 yards out to the 10. Second down and 2 after the Wildcat snap to Jake Jedico for 8. Receiver far side, that's Martin. 2 men in the backfield, quarterback takes it himself. and stopped with no gain. This time was Jake Jedico. So we've seen Loxon, a quarterback for Bell Vernon, Jedico, and the Wildcat quarterback, and we've seen 3 different Laurel Highlands quarterbacks, and we're here in quarter number 2. Third down and a long 2 for Bell Vernon. 8:50 remaining in a rolling second quarter clock. 14-0 the Leopards lead. Locks hands it off. Quinton Martin met in the backfield, and Quinton Martin's going to lose yards as Martin dropped back at the 6. Laurel Highlands returns the favor. $8:20 remaining here in the half. 14-0 Bell Vernon leads, and they will be punting from the shadow of their own end zone. First drive without a first down or a touchdown for Bell Vernon. Schwerer will do the honors. Gallagher back to receive. As it might be a delay of game penalty here on the Bell Vernon Leopards as the whistle blows. And that is indeed so. Now absolutely from the shadow of his own uprights is Schwerer. Schwerer with 7:55 remaining here in the half. We'll try to send this one deep. Schwerer in the shadow of his upright. Awaits the snap, will be sending it to Rodney Gallagher. No avoiding him now, almost blocked, but Schwerer gets it away. Takes a hop back towards Gallagher. Gallagher watches it, and Bell Vernon will let this one roll onto the Laurel Highlands side of the field as it's downed around the 46-yard line by Parker Joel. Great job by Schwerer. Drilling that one and got the roll as Gallagher let it go. And Laurel Highlands, instead of what was going to be absolutely outstanding field possession, even with a fair catch by Gallagher, that's about a 10-yard difference with Rodney deciding to let it go. But with 7:41 and a drive that stalled at the 1-yard line last time by for Laurel Highlands, they'll look to regroup from the Bell Vernon 46. Now in at quarterback again, it's Johnny Duke. Duke, quick hitter to Gallagher. Gallagher breaks the tackle of Moody. There goes Gallagher. Gallagher at the 50, met there by Quinton Martin, and Quinton Martin slows him up enough for a host of Leopards to join the party.
Brought down by Martin. Gain of 5. Second down 5.
Johnny Duke stays in at quarterback. Gallagher was able to march the Mustangs down the field, but switching things up. Duke was in for one play last drive, rolls near side, directs traffic, pressure coming, and down he goes. It's Moody. He got it away, and a discussion on this one in the area, though, was Antoine Black, but they're going to get the intentional grounding. I think Coach Colasar are going to argue that Antoine Black was in the vicinity, but Moody absolutely had him dead to right as Johnny Duke was trying to buy time. So another backwards play on second down for Laurel Highlands. Remember, coming up in just 7 minutes, the Trib Live High School Sports Network High School Halftime Show. And, of course, the Planet Roof halftime interview with Quinton Martin, who has 2 scores so far in this one. And it is a new intentional grounding rule this year in high school football. There's used to be, if you're out of the tackle box and still threw it away, it was intentional grounding, no longer A call is looking for Gallagher as Dukin overthrows him and out of bounds on the near side.
Number 3, Evan Polot on the coverage.
As Polot was draped over Rodney Gallagher once again.
17 for the Mustangs.
4th down and 17.
Tell Steve to stay. Tell Steve to stay. Tell Steve to stay.
As this time it's going to be Kuzier back to punt.
Formation number 8, Hunter Kuzer. Deep for the Leopards, number 25, Quinton Martin.
As flag on the far side of the field. 14-0 the Bell Vernon Leopards lead here over the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. 2 touchdowns by Quinton Martin as Bell Vernon gets a sideline warning. .56 remaining here in the half. Drive netted -7 yards as Kuzier gets it. Kuzier with the right foot sends it away out towards Quinton Martin. Martin takes it at the 35. Martin cuts far side over the 40 on the near sideline now as Quinton Martin up over the 45-yard line. And that's where they'll mark down the junior running back Quinton Martin.
40 in the 42.
As a pair of flags drape the field. Wait to get the call on these. Actually give it a trio, so the hat trick of flags here. Martin looking for the hat trick of touchdowns with 6:45 remaining. Bell Vernon 3 and out on their last drive. That was after taking over at their own 2-yard line as the defense was able to hold.
We have 2 penalties on the return team.
2 penalties against the Bell Vernon Leopards
Holding. That one will be declined.
as the hold is declined.
Block in the back.
And a block in the
10
back
yards from
will
the
be
spot
accepted.
at the bottom. First down.
So Bell Vernon still gets the football, but in deeper territory than their own 45-yard line, as this one will be marched back to, wait to see, it looks like the 30-yard line is where the Bell Vernon Leopards will take over on this drive. 14-0, 4th time the Leopards on the field here in this one. Bell Vernon looking for their 19th straight win here at home. Be their 27th in 28 games if they hang on. Looking for their 15th in a row against Laurel Highlands. It'll be their 57th overall as Locks looks to pass. Locks, there's Rakonen. Rakonen off the little bubble screen. Rakonen first down and more nearing midfield, and he's knocked out of bounds on the far side by Kuzier.
Brought down by number 8, Hunter Kuzer.
15-yard gain on the play for Chase Rakonen.
Gain of 17 on the play. First down, Leopards.
First and 10 for Bell Vernon. Ball lies at the 47. Just about where they would have started this drive before the penalty. Locks, low snap, gets it off to Jake Jetico, pushes forward, Jetico, ball's loose, Laurel Highlands has it back the other direction they come. Opportunistic is Laurel Highlands, it's John Pletcher on the recovery.
Covered by the Mustangs.
As John Pletcher, the returning leading tackler from a season ago, comes away with the football, and Laurel Highlands takes back over off a Bell Vernon turnover. As Jake Jetico could not hang on, and the Bell Vernon drive stopped short.
Following that turnovers, first down and 10. Mustangs from the Leopard 45.
LH will take over on Bell Vernon's 45. Best starting field position today for Laurel Highlands. Once again, it's Rodney Gallagher in the gun. Gallagher rolling right, flips it black. It's on the turf, and diving down on it was Antoine Black Jr. as running after him was Tanner Moody.
loss of 3 on the plate, second down, 13.
Again, coming up at the half will be your Trib Live High School Sports Network halftime show on the Planet Roof halftime interview with Bell Vernon's Quinton Martin. Of course, after the game, the WPIAL scoreboard show on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Whistle blows before the snap here as timeout coming as the Leopards will burn their penultimate timeout of the half. 14-0 Bell Vernon leads here in this one. As they take a timeout, we will take a look at what has happened so far here in this one. 3 and out to start. For the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. As after that 3 and out by Laurel Highlands, Bell Vernon went down the field 2 plays, 23 yards, and it was capped off with a Quinton Martin touchdown on the 23-yard run by Martin. Bell Vernon has done an excellent job so far here in this one, keeping Laurel Highlands out of the end zone. We've seen the Mustangs stop short from their own, or from the Bell Vernon 1-yard line, and looked like they were going to find pay dirt. Rodney Gallagher tried 3 times, unable to get in there. And coming up at the half, we will have the halftime show here on MVI Live, as Bell Vernon first will be facing Laurel Highlands will be facing a 2nd down and 13. And bear with me right now as pulling double duty. Gonna run camera and give you some play-by-play, as for some reason the halftime show didn't transfer onto my computer, so we'll have to get that off my actual one. Is Gallagher in trouble, and Braden Locks swings him down. Braden Locks, the sack of Rodney Gallagher, and it's 3rd down and forever for Laurel Highlands. Braden Locks penetrates through the offensive line and the right end of the Leopards. Finds pay dirt. 3rd down and 25. The 1st down marker in another area code for Rodney Gallagher and Laurel Highlands. 5:07 remaining here in the half. Gallagher, empty backfield, trips far side to near side. Nobody on black. And the whistle blows as Bell Vernon will use the timeout to save a possible, or actually, no timeout. Delay a game first is almost utter disaster for Bell Vernon. They're bailed out with the delay of game. Antoine Black Jr. was left all alone in the slot. So a 5-yard penalty makes it 3rd down and 30. Rodney Gallagher, empty set. Gallagher looks to throw, streaks down the field, pressure coming. Rodney running. Rodney slides down, and it's Quinton Martin stopping him after a 3-yard gain. Fourth down and 27. Going to be a Laurel Highlands punt.
On the punt for the Mustangs, number 28, Harry Radcliffe.
Looks like Alonzo Wade may be back deep to receive there. Snap to Radcliffe from his own 25, sends it away as out of bounds on the near side, and Bell Vernon will take over.
We spotted at the Leopard 39-yard line.
So Bell Vernon takes over here with 3:59 remaining in the second half. So Bell Vernon will take over from just inside their own 40 at their own 39-yard line. Braden Locks. Sack on the last drive. In the gun here is Braden Locks. Two receivers far side. None to the near side. Locks rolling right. Has time. Locks looking. Fires it up, and that one's brought down. It's Colton Lee up over the 40, down to the 39. As Colton Lee, his first reception of the season, goes for a first down and much more. Colton Lee, the left-handed flamethrower for the Leopards baseball team, plays that closer role for Bell Vernon. As Bell Vernon looking to find pay dirt before the break.
Gallagher's off about 10 yards, Matt. Inside.
Quick hitter off of the hands of Martin, and Rodney Gallagher knew he missed an opportunity there.
Second down, 10.
No, John.
Second down and 10 now for the Bell Vernon Leopards. Direct snap, Locks. Locks powering his way forward. Braden Locks bullying his way over the 30 down to the 28. As Braden Locks showing off the athleticism. As Ben Lehue will finally knock down Braden Locks, but a 12-yard pickup for Braden Locks. And with 3:22 and counting here in half number one, Bell Vernon looking to take a 3-score lead into the break. Flag thrown with 3:08 remaining. Still 2 seconds on the play clock as Colton Lee was rushing across.
Substitution infraction.
An illegal substitution on Bell Vernon. 12 men on the field. Backs them up by 5. 3:08 remaining here in the half. 14-0 lead for the Bell Vernon Leopards. 2 touchdowns by Quinton Martin. One from 23, the other from 10 yards out. And we'll talk to Quinton at the half. And, of course, after the game here on MVI Live, your Highway Appliance Player of the Game. Week 0 honors went to Kelly Rush of the Warriors. We've seen our first volleyball one go to McKenna Stefancic of Fraser, and Addison Conrad took home the honors last night. As Locks fires down the seam, Rakonen goes up and hangs on. And a flag comes in late after Kujar blew him up. But what a grab by Chase Rakonen.
Ball to 6. Right hand.
Chase Rakonen went up, hauled it in through the contact. .301 remaining as the officials talk this one over. But the ball went down to the 13-yard line. So 20-yard pass from Locks to Rakonen. And a personal foul.
Helmet contact, half the distance to the goal.
So it's going to be first down and goal for Bell Vernon. Looking to go up by 3.
First down and goal. Leopards from the
First and goal from the 7. Martin out near side with Colton Lee. Locks in the gun. Jetico to his left. Locks looks to throw far side. Has his man wrapped up his pull-out as he slammed back down at the original line of scrimmage. Second down and goal now for Bell Vernon. They might have picked up 1.
second down and goal for the 6.
6 yards away from pay dirt once again. Pull-out near side, far side, Quinton Martin, Jetico the back. Martin in motion, Locks, handoff, Jetico on the misdirection. Jetico down inside the 5 to the 1 yard line. And it's third and goal, and some more flags come flying. With 2:01 remaining in the half, Bell Vernon up by 2 scores, looking to make it 3. Jake Jetico stopped at the 1, but we'll see if this one's marching back after the penalty, on the penalty after the whistle.
Dead ball after the play, personal foul, 88 offense.
As Aiden Johnson picks up the personal foul, bringing up third down, and should be 16 for Bell Vernon instead of third down and goal from the 1. So life a lot harder now for Bell Vernon with 2:01 remaining here in the half. Bell Vernon scored on their first 2 drives on Martin touchdown runs, a 3-and-out punt, and then a fumble by Jake Jetico leading to this drive here. Bell Vernon looking to get back on the board. Pressure coming, Locks staying away. Locks runs, leaps, flipping to the original line, or to the line of scrimmage, not the original, as he is flipped out at the 16-yard line. Great job by Tristan Baker. Came through untouched, and guess what? More laundry on the field. Bell Vernon, again, just their first game of the season that's not a scrimmage. Laurel Highlands, their second after that victory over Uniontown in week number 0.
Holding, offense number 52, 10 yards, third down.
So a hold called on the Bell Vernon heckle. 10-yard penalty, and it is accepted, so it's going to be third down and very long now for Bell Vernon. But, you know, almost a little surprised that Laurel Highlands decided to take this, and they do decline it. So it is fourth down and 16. Bell Vernon was going to stay on the field either way. You figure it didn't make sense to give them 2 cracks from 26 instead of 1 from 16 with the explosive players this team has. It's Pollard and Rakonen on the near side. As now the officials meet on the far side, 1:40 remaining here in the half. Bell Vernon once again flexing their muscles against Laurel Highlands like they've done so often. Life without Devin Whitlock and Cole Waitman for this Bell Vernon team. Fourth down and goal from the 16. Locks in the gun. Martin to his left. 2 receivers near side. Timeout Laurel Highlands as we delay it once more.
Timeout, Laurel Highlands.
Looking ahead in the future, next week, Laurel Highlands back home. They will take on Kiski, while Bell Vernon, as mentioned earlier, will hit the road to take on the Tigers from McKeesport. Bell Vernon, the number 1 team in 3A coming into the season. Bell Vernon also ranked number 7 in the entire WPIAL, no matter classification. And in the state rankings, Bell Vernon sits as the number 2 team inside of 3A, inside the state rankings, coming off a runner-up performance a season ago. But Bell Vernon, they have been on an absolute tear since moving from 3A to 4A. As when that happened back in 2015, Bell Vernon has made the postseason every year. They only have 12 losses since 2015. And a lot of those losses came to Thomas Jefferson and Aliquippa, as the Quips have knocked Bell Vernon out of the playoffs the last 2 seasons, as the timeout by Laurel Highlands will change the mind of head coach Matthew Humbert, as Matt Humbert's going to send out his kicker, Schwera. Stieber the holder. And Stieber is the backup quarterback for Bell Vernon, so trickery definitely could be afoot. See if they let Schwera kick it. Stieber, good hold. Kick is up on its way, and the kick is no good. He pushes it wide right as the Mustangs get the hold. Schwera had the distance, didn't have the accuracy. So that will give Laurel Highlands the ball back with 1:28 to operate. .128 remaining, half number 2. Ball lies on the Leopards' 16-yard line. Laurel Highlands looking for some late quarter matchup. Might have a changing of the guards at quarterback again, as this one's fired across the middle. It's intercepted. Chase Rakonen. As Chase Rakonen opportunistic, as he got slammed out of bounds on the far side of the field. As that was Tristan McCoy firing it for Laurel Highlands. So bad luck for Tristan McCoy, the 4th Laurel Highlands quarterback we've seen today.
Dead ball after the play. Personal foul, late hit, number 8. 15-yard penalty.
As Kuzer does get the 15-yard personal foul. Chase Rakonen, the interception. And Bell Vernon, just like that, after one play, takes back over after the missed field goal, just where they coughed it up. At the Laurel Highlands 16 with 1:22 remaining. As Locks escapes, fires it towards the lead marker, and Antoine Black pushes his man out of bounds. As Colton Lee was able to haul that pass in on the far sideline. Second down and a long 2 for Bell Vernon. Under a minute to play here in the half. Bell Vernon only has 1 timeout left to operate with. Under a minute to play, looking for a 3-score lead at the break. Martin to the left of Locks. Locks, handoff, Martin up the middle, met immediately. Martin trying to power forward, and Quinton won't get their time running. And a timeout called. That should be the last timeout in the repertoire of Matt Humbert this half, but had to do it. Time would have expired on Bell Vernon after the Chase Rakonen interception. They were opportunistic off the muff punt, giving them great field position on their first drive of the game. 23 yards away. This time it was 16 yards out. Can Bell Vernon capitalize and take a 3-score lead into the break? Again, just moments away as well from the Planet Roof halftime show. An interview with Bell Vernon's Quinton Martin, the #1 player in the state. #2 athletes in the country. You know, Quinton talking to him, you know, as always said, probably going to wait to his senior year to commit. That staying likely, but, you know, if you like to play the projecting crystal ball game, back when Quinton was a little Quinton, which can't imagine him ever being little. Since he's a freshman, he's looked like a grown man out there. Said the dream for Quinton Martin was to play safety for Penn State. The head coach of the Nittany Lions might be here. At least was expected to be in attendance tonight after their victory. Much closer probably than they would have liked over Purdue last night. As there's Martin off the direct snap. Quinton to the near side. It's the hat trick for Quinton Martin. as he scores again, this time from 8 yards out. Quinton Martin. He does it all for Bell Vernon. Off the direct snap with 30.1 remaining, Quinton Martin does it again.
Yes. Get a lineman in there.
Quinton Martin with ease to the left side. And Schwera sends that one up and sends it through. Another PAT connect for Schwera. And Bell Vernon does indeed take the 3-score lead. It's 21-0 in favor of the Bell Vernon Leopards here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Quinton Martin. Not once, not twice, but 3 times for the Bell Vernon Leopards here in this one. An absolute athletic freak is Quinton Martin, as his former high school quarterback, Devin Whitlock, called Quinton a freak athlete when he had the opportunity to play for him. And, you know, yes, is recruiting and all that getting a little bit of out of hand? Absolutely, but it's a cool point to make that Quinton Martin, even though he's still a junior in high school, already projected to be a 2nd or 3rd round NFL draft pick come his year. Again, are we getting ahead of ourselves? Is this getting a little out of hand? Absolutely. But still a cool thing for a kid already being projected to go high once he decides to call it quits with the college level, which may not be a full 4 years with his repertoire. But he still has basically 2 full years left here at the beach at Bell Vernon. 21-0, the Bell Vernon Leopards lead the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Shore has it teed up, sends it away as this one's a booming kick back towards the 3-yard line. There's Black Jr. Black Jr. cuts it outside the numbers. Black Jr. stood up and forced out by Evan Polott. Joining him on that was Jake Jetico. Make that Adam LaCarte joining Evan Polott. 23.2 seconds remaining. We've seen a ton of QBs. First 2 drives went to the starter, Soltis. He went 6 and out, 2 3 and outs. Then it was Rodney Gallagher. They moved the ball, stopped at the 1. We saw Johnny Duke come in, went 3 and out. Gallagher back at quarterback. And resulted in nothing. Then McCoy came in through 1 pass. It was an interception, as it looks like McCoy's going to get another opportunity here. Actually make that Soltis. He might have been the man in last time. 15-16 does look an awful lot alike, but we'll go back and check that, see if that was McCoy or Soltis. Nonetheless, Laurel Highlands does have a different man at the helm here in this one. McCoy in the gun. 22 seconds, screen pass, Black blown up in the backfield as Evan Polott, make that Alonzo Wade, leveling the boom on the far side. Second tackle for a loss by Alonzo Wade. 13.6 seconds remaining, and LH was looking to take a shot there for a reason, and that being the reason is Harry Radcliffe. School record 53-yard field goal last week in the win versus Uniontown for Harry Radcliffe. So trying to get into his range and get some points on the board before the half. But a huge play by Alonzo Wade, blowing things up on the far side. As Soltis still in at quarterback for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. CJ Soltis, 2nd year with the Mustangs. First 2 years of high school were at Uniontown, but that will do it as time expires here in half number 1. 3 touchdowns by Quinton Martin, and the Bell Vernon Leopards lead 21-0 at the break. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll have half number 2 for you right here on MVI Live. But it's time for the Trib Live High School Sports Network halftime show, then your Planet Roof halftime interview with Bell Vernon's very own Quinton Martin right here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Halftime show week 1 edition on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Don Rebel, Chris Harlan of the Trib Live High School Sports Network, TTM family member, kind enough to join us. It's a tradition, right? We've been doing this a long time. For those listeners who have been with us, we thank you. And we continue with the first couple weeks of the season. Okay, who are some of the players to watch? We'll do that next week. This week, teams to watch here in the 2022 season. We're going to start in Class A. Interesting start, Chris, I thought, in week 0, where a lot of the teams that, I think will maybe be there in the end and, with high expectations, came up on the short end of the stick in week 0. Doesn't mean much, but nonetheless, again, this has the most amount of teams, Class A, so maybe makes things a little more interesting.
Yep, no doubt. And I think you can't talk about Class A without talking about Clairton, first off. A team that won 10 titles in a 14-year span, and recently is 2019. Talking to Wayne Wade, their coach this year, he feels like people have kind of forgotten about the Bears a little bit. It's been a few years since they won a title. People start thinking about other guys out there, and he said, hey, don't forget about the Bears. They've got a really good group of freshmen and sophomores coming into this program. They're going to be good this year. They're going to be good for the next couple of years. So don't forget about Clairton. If you have, it's probably wishful thinking by some of their opponents, hoping that they're not there at the end, but don't count Clairton out. But the team that's trying to be the new big dog in Class A is Bishop Canevin, defending champs. Rich Johnson, you look at what he's done with that program in a short time. Before he took over a couple years ago, they were 1-9. Last year, they win the championship. So, this is a team that brings a lot back, and they're going to try to be a program in single A. But I think, again, they're in that conference with Clairton. They lost to Clairton last year. I think somewhere along the line, they're going to have to show they can beat Clairton. It's going to be a big win for them, because you look since 2010, I think they were like 0-6 against Clairton in the last 10 or 12 years. So that's going to be a big one when they play this year. But those are the two teams. I think you also got a few others: Olsh, Leechburg, Cornell. Definitely teams to talk about in single A.
Yeah, and again, both those teams that you sort of featured there will be were on the short end of the stick. Bishop Canevin and Clairton losing in week 0. Let's move up to Class 2A now, where 1 week under the belt. And again, I think the teams that with some expectations got off to good starts.
This is the classification to me. It could be the deepest in the WPIL. When you look at, 6 years ago, the sport expanded to 6 classifications. And that, I think, benefited 2A maybe more than any other classification in the WPIL. Really made some good competition there. And if you look at the last 5 years, there's been a different winner in 2A every year. 5 winners in 5 years. If you're looking to make that 6 for 6, maybe a Stowe Rocks team. I think that'd be a team to look at this year. They've got a new head coach, but bring back a whole lot of talent from last year's team. A number of Division I guys, big-time offense. But you look right there with them, defending champ Sarah Catholic, Steel Valley, Beaver Falls, Washington. I think when you look at 2A, there's a good group of guys. And I don't know if you could pick one of those teams necessarily as a preseason favorite, because you can make a case for any of those 5.
No, indeed. And most of those teams were victorious that you just mentioned in week 0. Another team maybe to watch, a sleeper team I sort of like in 2A's Allegheny Conference, is Apollo Ridge. A very nice victory in week 0 when they beat a highly touted Leechburg team with high expectations. All right, let's bump it up now to Class 3A.
Yeah, all eyes in 3A are on Bell Vernon. I mean, this is the team that a year ago, they were in the 4A WPL Championship. They were the runner-up to Aliquippa. The new enrollment numbers came out. Their number went down. That let them drop to 3A, and they took it. They went to 3A. And you look at this group, they lost their quarterback, but they've got a big-time talent in the backfield in Quinton Martin. one of the top recruits in the state, running back, defensive back, kind of linebacker guy. With that talent, I mean, they're head and shoulders right now, the clear favorite in 3A, probably the favorite in the state. And that's, but there's going to be a lot of expectations. When you make that move, when you go from 4A to 5, down to 3A, you better win or people are going to be looking at you. The teams are going to try to give them a run. Avonworth is back. They're always a good competitive team. Elizabeth Ford and a Freeport team. Teams that you're going to see there in the playoffs and trying to make a run this year. With an opening with no Central Valley now in 3A, that leaves that door open.
Real quick, Chris, I mean, we've seen the last couple of years Central Valley just totally dominate this classification.
Yeah.
And if it plays out, we could see it again with Bell Vernon. Good or bad?
Bad for everybody else in that classification. Good for Bell Vernon.
Yeah, I guess. You mentioned Central Valley moving up to 4A has made for a vicious Parkway Conference where you have defending district state champion Central Valley 3A, defending 4A state and district champion Aliquippa, plus your standard powers of Montour, Newcastle, an up and coming Ambridge team, and West Allegheny comes down from 5A. They got off to a good start in week 0.
Yeah, Parkway definitely will live up to its reputation this year of being a tough conference, maybe the toughest in the WPIL. You look at Aliquippa, in Central Valley now, 2 defending state champs in the same conference. That's pretty amazing. I don't know if that's ever happened to have 2 defending state championships have to play each other in a regular season like that. But Aliquippa, I think the one thing you can't forget about them, and their coach Mike Warfield won't let you forget about them, is that they're a single A team playing up 3 classifications to 4A and beating up on people. And he still says, hey, it's not fair. We shouldn't have to play 4A. But the other thing he hasn't done is make excuses. I mean, they go out and they win. And so keep your eyes on Aliquippa again. They're back. They're going to try to win another WPL title, another state title this year in a tough 4A with some familiar names. Thomas Jefferson, McKeesport. You've got Central Valley. We mentioned North Catholic, also a 3A team that has now moved up to 4A. So 4A is tough. I mean, there's a good 4, 5, 6 teams there at the top who are all going to be in the discussion down the road. And don't overlook Mars. I mean, that's a Mars team that struggled last year. New coach Eric Kasparovich. They got off to a good start with a big win over Montour last week. It's interesting. I think we thought it would take a year or 2 to get them going, but they're winning game 1. We'll see what Mars can do.
Yeah, it may turn out 4A is the deepest. We're so used to 5A being quote unquote the deepest classification. 4A Parkway Conference. We're going to talk a lot about it, but those other 2 conferences aren't a skip in the park either. Some quality teams up and down. Let's move up to Class 5A, a smaller Class 5A than what we're used to, but still maybe a little more top-heavy in 5A than balanced as we've seen over the years.
Yeah. If you look since WPL expanded 6 classifications, no 5A champion has repeated. I think there's always been that little bit of parity there where nobody gets to go back-to-back. Penn Trafford's trying to do that this year. I mean, you look at them, they won WPL and PWA titles last year. They bring back a good offensive line. They also have a Temple recruit in Conlon Green, who you very nicely wrote this week about Penn Trafford going green. And they've got Conlon Green, who was a tight end, defensive end. They moved him to quarterback, and he threw for more than 300 yards last week. So nice start for Penn Trafford. But the teams are going to be there. Gateway, again, in that same conference is going to be challenging. And you got Penn Hills and Pine Richland, both with new coaches, but they're going to be in the mix. And you look at, I think, an Upper St. Clair team down in the Allegheny 6, a team that has a lot of guys back. They're going to be right there. Mike Junko's team will be in contention as well.
All right. We wrap it up with 6A. We thought 6A would be competitive. We didn't see anything in week 0 that tells us otherwise. It looks like it is going to be a pretty good fight of the 5 teams for 4 playoff spots.
Yeah, I can tell you who the 5 best teams in 6A are right now. That's a pretty easy one with only 5 teams.
Your top 5 is made easy, isn't it?
In some order, yes, every week. I think a team to watch there is Seneca Valley. I mean, you look at Mount Lebanon, what they did last year with a big senior class. Seneca Valley's trying to do the same thing this year. Big senior class. Haven't ever won a WPL title. They were there a few years ago. That's where they're trying to see that magic of a senior class, some Division I guys, see if they can capture that and win a title this year.
Some of the teams to watch next week, players to watch. Enjoy the second half of the game you're listening to. For Chris Harlan, I'm Don Rebel here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Back here at the half on MVI Live this week, our halftime interview. We are joined by Quinton Martin. Of course, your halftime brought to you by Planet Roof. But Quinton, first off, really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to sit down and talk with me.
Yes, sir. No problem.
So, for those who don't know, which I'm sure most do already, number one player in the state of Pennsylvania, 5-star recruit, 16 Division I offers already as a junior, including the likes of Penn State, Florida State, Michigan, WVU, Pitt, just to name a few. But, Quinton, with all of these offers from all these high schools at such a young age, and, you know, not everyone's had the privilege, like I have, to watch you since your very first high school game.
Yeah.
How have you been able to kind of block all this out and continue to focus on football and doing what you have to do to be successful at this sport?
I mean, I just keep a steady mind. I keep my head straight, and I work on, I keep my focus on Belle Vernon area football. College, I still have 2 more years. I'm still 15 years old. So basically, my mind is here. It's all in Belle Vernon football.
So many people may look at you much more past that, because any article you read, okay, you can see maybe draft projection already. Again, you said you're just 15 years old, so not that long ago you got your start in this sport. Mm-hmm. How did that come to be that you became into football and eventually grew into what we see now?
Like you asking like when I first started playing football?
Yeah, how did you first get into the game and first start playing?
I mean, it's just my dad, my uncle, my family, they're known as football players. So I feel like it just it came naturally. I've always liked it. I've grew up around football, so it was just naturally, honestly. That's what made me come to this sport.
So you say, family tradition. Does that give you a little bit more of a chip on your shoulder, too, to maybe try to be that best one out of your family to this point?
I mean, yeah, but I want to be myself, too. I don't want to compare myself to any other players in my family. I just want to be Quinton Martin Jr., not Quinton Martin Sr., not Sean Martin Jr., just myself.
And you've done a pretty good job at that, helping lead this Belle Vernon team into what has been a great run so far, unable to get so far that championship. But you still have 2 more years to do that. So how do you and your Leopard teammates get to that next level, especially now moving down to a very still challenging 3A classification? How do you move to that next level that you guys can come out wearing WPIAL gold at the end of the year?
Like you said, we came short these past 2 years I've been in high school. I feel like all we have to do is work harder, Last year we came in an Aliquippa game, playing them, not focus how we should have been going into the WPIAL championship game. So basically I feel like what we have to do is stay focused and work harder than we did the past 2 years.
And that's something it seems like you guys have been doing a lot of. But, for you personally, it's evident the amount of work you put in at your craft and what you do. Because, as I said, since you've stepped on the foot of this Belle Vernon campus, you've been successful in all assets of your athletic career. So coming into this year, a very, again, daunting schedule, not just with section and conference opponents, but out of conference as well. We still see the Thomas Jefferson rivalry, the LH game, the McKee Sport game. So how does going up against the likes of players such as Jordan Mayer, who's going to Wisconsin, Rodney Gallagher, your former Summer League teammate, going to West Virginia, Keandre DeShields, Bobby Boyd Jr., and even Zach Boyd, who all have Division I caliber, how does that help you improve and take your game to the next level?
Honestly, when I go to an atmosphere like that and players like that, I just think to myself, we're just playing football. Everybody's playing the same sport, and I just give it my all. It doesn't really get to my head. Yes, they're very good players, but at the end of the day, I'm very confident when I go on the field. No one's better than me when I'm on the field. So that's what comes to my head when I play players like that and teams like that.
So going into something I mentioned a little earlier there, that you and Rodney, Summer League teammates back when you guys were in the MVI SBO, which was always fun to get to watch you two put on a show. But how much of a fun matchup can that be, that you guys kind of have that off football relationship, and then you have the opportunity him moving back to wide receiver. We've seen you, and especially even the gateway scrimmage, now moving out to play some cornerback. How is that matchup between, in a sense, instead of two Division I athletes, but two friends, in a sense, colleagues outside of football, going to be for you?
It's going to be very exciting. The 2 years I played high school, I never guarded Rodney out in the slot or even outside receiver. So it's definitely going to be exciting going against him.
So going into your junior year now, we've seen you take snaps at running back, wide receiver, safety, cornerback. I mean, it looks like it's an open book for you when you get to the next level where you can play. Do you have a preference of what you would be, in the future once you get to the next level? I mean, obviously you're defined as an athlete in your recruiting profile, and I think that's the perfect way to describe you because you can go almost any position and be successful at it. But do you have a preference of where you actually get to play?
I mean, no, not really, not at all. I just want to play football. I just want to have fun, play the team game, and just play, just do me. So, no, not at all. I don't really have a preference. I'll go wherever the coach and wherever my team needs me most important. So that's about it.
And so we're nearing the start of this season when we're doing this interview. I mean, obviously we'll be airing this during your game against Laurel Highlands. Everyone watching is going to know that. But going into a contest, do you have a pregame routine, anything that gets your mind right to get you ready to get out and do the job at hand?
Pregame, I usually get one of those talks from my uncle before the game. In the locker room, all of us, our team, we listen to End the Air tonight. It's pretty much a school tradition. And then right before we go, Coach Humbert, he gives us this amazing speech, gets you ready for the game, gets you pumped. And that's about it, and it's game time.
All right, Quinton. So moving down to 3A, still a lot of similar opponents on the schedule for you guys this season. If you could send one message to all of 3A or even all of the WPIL coming into your junior year, what would it be?
One message? Be prepared. Be prepared because we got a lot of talent coming back, and we're ready to play football.
All right, we got one more question for you, and it's the same question I end every single interview with, whether it be basketball or football. I like to make it a little lighthearted, and this is more or less. This is my only way I could take a poll of this because this is how I felt on the topic.
Yeah.
So back when I was playing basketball, last thing you hear before starting game, national anthem.
Mm-hmm.
For me, clear my head, get me ready to go. Is the national anthem a pump-up song, and is it one of the best out there?
The national anthem, yeah, it definitely is. It clears your head. It calms you down. You get into your thoughts. You get into your mode when the national anthem comes out, if that makes sense. So I feel like the national anthem definitely has a big impact on the way I play my game and the way I come out playing. So, yeah.
All right, Quinton, thank you. And that's 2 for 2 agreeing with me on the national anthem so far this fall. So I will take that as a win. But, again, really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to sit down and talk with me.
Yes, sir.
And, of course, good luck on the rest of the season. We'll see you 3 times this year, and can't wait to see the show you put on.
Yes, sir.
All right, that was your halftime interview brought to you by Planet Roof with Belle Vernon's very own Quinton Martin. When we come back, we'll have half number 2 of the Leopards in Laurel Highlands right here on MVI Live. Planet Roof, Pittsburgh's top roofing company, goes above and beyond to give customers the best experience possible. At Planet Roof, we pay close attention to the quality of our work in your home. Our roofers are committed professionals with years of experience who will go above and beyond for all of our clients' needs. Because at Planet Roof, we love what we do. For more information, contact us today at 724-243-3297 or visit our website, planetroof.com. Back here at the half on MVI Live as halftime interview there with Belle Vernon's very own Quinton Martin, having himself a start to the season. 3 scores on the ground so far for Quinton Martin, an interception for Chase Rakonen, and Belle Vernon up 21-0 at the break over Rodney Gallagher. and the Laurel Highlands Mustangs here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Of course, remember, coming up after the game, the Trib Live High School Sports Network scoreboard show. We'll have that for you later on here this evening with our very own Don Rebel on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. But Bell Vernon rolling. We'll take a look at some other games around the Mon Valley as Ligonier Valley, or just around the area, Ligonier Valley up 27-6 over Southmoreland. California 35, Charleroi nothing. West Mifflin trailing to the Warriors from Elizabeth forward 15-7. TJ 21, Baldwin 7 as Thomas Jefferson looking to get their first win of the season. Washington 20, Clareton 6. Cornell, a single A front runner, up by 1 over the Bears from Clareton, the Greyhounds from Monessen. We'll see Monessen next week in our game of the week. McKeesport and Penn Trafford, last check, they were tied at 7. Ringgold trailing McGuffey 21-7. Bentworth on top of Avella 14-0, and Freeport on top of South Allegheny, last check, by a score of 3-0. But a big shout out and thank you again to Bell Vernon's Quinton Martin for sitting down with me for that interview. Absolutely a lot of fun to sit with Quinton, and a young man who is wise beyond his years and is going to have an excellent career wherever he goes. 3 and out to start for Laurel Highlands in this one, then a 23-yard touchdown run on the second play from scrimmage for Quinton Martin, making it 7-0 Bell Vernon. Quinton would add a 10-yard scamper on 4th down and 8, making it 14-0. Laurel Highlands got a drive going with Rodney Gallagher taking his first series at QB. Would take it all the way down to the Leopard 1. 4 tries from the 1. No avail for Rodney Gallagher in the Laurel Highlands offense after some trading possessions and a fumble by Jake Jetico. Laurel Highlands got their best starting field position of the game. They would go nowhere with it after a punt. Braden Locks would lead his team down the field after a 20-yard pass to Rakonen and a personal foul. Bell Vernon looked to be in business, but a field goal missed to the right, and eventually led to the following sequence when Soltes, one pass intercepted by Rakonen, and Quinton Martin would cap off that drive before the break with an 8-yard touchdown run, his third of the game. 21-0 Bell Vernon at the break over Laurel Highlands. We'll take a break and come back and have half number 2 for you right here on MVI Live.
Planet Roof, Pittsburgh's top roofing company, goes above and beyond to give customers the best experience possible. At Planet Roof, we pay close attention to the quality of our work in your home. Our roofers are committed professionals with years of experience who will go above and beyond for all of our clients' needs. Because at Planet Roof, we love what we do. For more information, contact us today at 724-243-3297 or visit our website, planetroof.com. Marble Diamonds and Jewelry, a third-generation family-owned and operated business since 1964. Whether you are looking to propose, promise, celebrate, or surprise, Marbles has the expertise, selection, and price to make your shopping experience relaxed and easy. Visit our showroom located at 112 Pricedale Road in Bell Vernon or call us at 724-929-6633. Marble Diamonds and Jewelry, your journey, your jeweler. G-Force Athletic Club, free after-school youth boxing program for ages 10 to 18, located at 338 Fallowfield Avenue in Charleroi. G-Force's certified USA boxing coaches provide training in amateur boxing, running, and weight training. G-Force also provide a positive environment and Christian mentoring for our rising generations. For more information, call 202-262-0584. Make Dogs Sports Bar and Grill your place to watch football this season. We have the Mon Valley's best seats in the house. 9 10-foot big screen TVs, wing specials every Sunday noon to 4 p.m., pizza and flatbread specials all day Saturday for college game day, Monday night football burger specials, and you can watch all the Thursday night NFL games here at Dogs in the Walmart Lowe's Plaza in Bell Vernon.
Bring together expert faculty. Offer programs in high-demand fields. Add in a few centuries of tradition. You might call it the future of higher education. We're calling it Pennsylvania Western University. We've combined the resources of California, Clarion, and Edinburgh to create a new way to educate, where opportunities are boundless and tomorrow is yours to define. Built on tradition, built for your future. Welcome to Penn West.
Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress. The right brands, price, and advice since 1946. Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress is the Mon Valley's choice for selection, service, and savings for over 75 years. Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress. You're going to like us a lot. We guarantee it.
Back here at the half on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Alex Lyons with you as we get set to start half number 2 here from the beach. Bell Vernon having a grand old time this evening. 21-0. Quinton Martin in his birthday week, celebrating in style with the hat trick of first half touchdowns for the Bell Vernon Leopards. As Tanner Stieber loosening up on the far sideline. Braden Locks has played basically the entirety of the game at the quarterback position for the Bell Vernon Leopards. We've seen some Wildcats by Jake Jetico and company for Bell Vernon. But the Leopards coming out, continuing to do what they have done, not just against Laurel Highlands. Mentioned they've won 14 in a row against the Mustangs. They average in those 14 games, in those 14 games, they've averaged 42 points per game. In the last 10, they've averaged 46.7. Last 5, 50.4 against this Laurel Highlands team. But they've also been great defensively. Overall, since 2003, they're only giving up 9.3 points per game, and they're right on track with that again. 21 points on the board, no points against, as in their first appearance of the season. Bell Vernon looks like they are primed for another run here in the WPIAL. They have been outstanding once again, and it's something that, you didn't know. You knew they were going to be good, but how are they going to handle a new quarterback, some new other key position players for Bell Vernon? It's been an absolute fluent transition, and, another player that not going to get a lot of mention here tonight, obviously, but Alonzo Wade has made some great stops defensively. Hasn't played football in a very long time. A couple of TFLs for Alonzo Wade. He broke onto the scene last year for the Leopards basketball team as a freshman, part of the MVI, SBL, and Coach Kevin Kovach's Union Cleaner squad that we got to see this year. His younger brother, Curdy, on the Leopards team as well. He was dealing with a bit of an injury from the summer, but Curdy Wade definitely going to be someone to watch as Gallagher and Johnny Duke playing catch. Two guys we've seen a quarterback here tonight. Duke has played a series and one play. Soltis and Gallagher have split the other series. Best series for Laurel Highlands was Rodney Gallagher's first. And again, I don't like to necessarily do these hypotheticals and question, is everybody telling the truth or not? But you can't tell me him being a wide receiver in college doesn't have something to do with him playing wide receiver. His first drive that he was in at quarterback was the only drive that Laurel Highlands came close to scoring. And they took him out at the quarterback position the very next drive. And, you hate to question and wonder what's going on, but you can't tell me that that's not an influence. Because your best drive, your only drive you were close to scoring, was with Rodney Gallagher in at quarterback, and you took him out your next series. And, hey, if that's going to be the case, it might be easy pickings for the Big 7 conference this year against Laurel Highlands, because last year they were a playoff team, but Gallagher touched the ball every single play for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. With that being said, you take a lot of wear and tear doing that if you're Rodney Gallagher, who, again, will be taking the short trip down from Laurel Highlands to Morgantown to play collegiate football. Had a number of Division I offers, and Rodney Gallagher had some great Division I looks at basketball as well. His top 8 in football included Penn State, Notre Dame, Virginia Tech, Pitt, Texas, Oklahoma State, and Oregon. Again, chose West Virginia out of that top 8. And in basketball, he's a 3-star point guard. Offers from, again, the likes of Pitt, Penn State, West Virginia in there, Rhode Island. But here's the big one. He got recruited to play basketball by Illinois. That's a very good basketball school. It tells you, how multi-talented this kid is. But, questioning, did Laurel Highland or West Virginia have a say of where he's playing football? That's definitely a possibility. But, kudos to the West Virginia coaching staff for telling him they want him to stay in school and play one more season of basketball. That's going to be great to see, especially now. They're in the same section as Bell Vernon. Yeah, no Brandon Davis, no Devin Whitlock, but it's still going to be a lot of fun to watch Bell Vernon now in Laurel Highlands not play once but twice this year as Harry Radcliffe gets set to send us away for half number 2, and it's an onside kick, and the Leopards bat it around, loose around the 50, and eventually the Bell Vernon Leopards are able to claw it in as Alonzo Wade, man, we were just talking about, recovered the onside kick. A great kick by Harry Radcliffe, though. Gave his team a great shot. But Alonzo Wade got the recovery, and Bell Vernon will start on their own 49, 11:56 remaining in the quarter. Tanner Stieber, we said he was warming up at the half, so he will get his first series at the quarterback position. Stieber in the gun. Stieber, quarterback draw up the middle, powering his way towards the 45 as Tanner picks up 5, and oh no, Quinton Martin is limping off the field for Bell Vernon. That is not what you want to see if you are the Leopards. Quinton Martin hobbling to the Bell Vernon sideline, working on that right hamstring. As you got to hope here maybe in the early going, is it cramps for Quinton Martin, first game they've played this year. Stieber in the gun, Jetico to his left for Conan in motion. Now to far side, Colton Lee on the near side. Stieber, handoff, Jetico on the sweep. Jetico breaks a tackle, powering his way, first down and more to the 31 for Jake Jetico. As Jake Jetico, it's been an up and down evening for the young man, but a great carry there by Jake Jetico. The 6', 205 junior. As they continue to tend to Quinton Martin on the sideline. Stieber in the gun. Tanner Stieber, quick hitter, Colton Lee over the 30, 25, 20, and he's tripped up inside the 20 at the 18-yard line as Tanner Stieber completes his first pass of the season. And another new set of downs for the Bell Vernon Leopards with 10:32 remaining in the half. Bell Vernon moving the ball at will so far here in this one. Looking to go up by 4 scores. 35 would be the running clock and invoke the mercy roll against Laurel Highlands. As a whistle blows, is trying to get off the field was Rafe on the near side, and a timeout called by the Mustangs. As Laurel Highlands will burn their first timeout of the half. Gives us a chance to remind you that after the game, tune into the WPIAL Football Scoreboard Show on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Full recap of all the games with live video call-ins, including from yours truly. Might have to be getting on the phone, send a quick text to the Don Rebel or Chris Lackner and let them know might not be on for my time slot. Still 10:09 remaining in the third quarter. We have TV timeout, so Bell Vernon invoking the mercy rule might help me hit my time window. to give everybody out there who wasn't tuning in to this a full recap of what the Leopards have done so far to the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Quinton Martin still being tended to on the far sideline for Bell Vernon. Rakonen and Polot on the near side. Moody in motion. Direct snap, that's to Jetico. Wildcat quarterback again. Jetico gets the edge. Jake Jetico inside the 5. First and goal for Bell Vernon. It's Jake Jetico powering his way down the outside. First down and goal for Bell Vernon as they have marched right down the field with the short field that Laurel Highlands has presented in front of them. As Moody giving the plays from the sideline. Now Tanner Stieber heads back into the huddle after some Wildcat quarterbacking by Jetico. As Stieber under center, whistle blows first as the play clock hits 0. See if Coach Matt Humbert got a time out in first, as he's having a word with the official on the far side of the field. 10:02 remaining here in the half, 21-0, your score in favor of Bell Vernon. As again in tomorrow's Mon Valley Independent paper, you can get a full print coverage of this game and many more. Jeremy Salou will have that, and the sites were captured by the award-winning Mike Darnay. Had a chance to take a look at some of those photos at the half, and they are absolutely incredible, as always, by Mike Darnay. So make sure you check out those tomorrow. Got some good ones of Coach Franklin, even with some youth Leopard football players. As Stieber under center, 3 men in the backfield. It's Moody in the middle, off the pitch. There's Moody, gets to the edge, down to the goal line. Touchdown, Leopards, Tanner Moody onto the board. The 4th rushing touchdown of the game for Bell Vernon. This time it's Tanner Moody. Off the pitch from Stieber, so Tanner Stieber, 1 drive, 1 score. 27-0 Bell Vernon.
Make sure Heckle's in there. Make sure Perry should have 2 wings. Oh, he's coming out.
As a 3-yard touchdown run by Tanner Moody. As kick is up and good for Schwera again, as he is now 4 for 4 on PATs. Bell Vernon up 28-0 as once again the Bell Vernon Leopards flexing their muscles offensively over Laurel Highlands. They'll look to continue the feat defensively here on this upcoming possession, but you know, all the hype around this game, it's still Bell Vernon saying they're top dogs. This history is continuing to repeat itself as Bell Vernon on the verge of invoking the Mercier with a stop and score against Laurel Highlands, on the verge of a 19th straight home win. It would be their 27th in 28 tries. Last loss at home came to Thomas Jefferson. Last regular season loss for Bell Vernon to a player not named Thomas Jefferson was in 2016 to West Mifflin. But Bell Vernon, they are dominant against Laurel Highlands. They are dominant at the beach, and they are showing that off once again here tonight. Stieber operates a 3-minute drive that results in the Moody 3-yard TD run. Schwara gets set to send this one away. 28-0, the Bell Vernon Leopards lead here in half number 2. Next week, Bell Vernon on the road. They'll take on the McKeesport Tigers. Will be a very tough matchup with McKeesport once again. That triple option, Bobby Boyd Jr. and company, Jamil Perryman. That's actually, I think, going to be an outstanding game. As, again, we'll take the trip to Fraser and watch the Monessen Greyhounds, who are in a 1-point stalemate, basically, with the Cornell Raiders. Cornell was the public school basketball champions a few years back. Lost to Ascension Academy in Ascension Academy's final WPIAL game. But they did end that season on a winning note. That's when the season shut down. I actually had the privilege of following that team in the playoffs. But saw Cornell's football team once last year, and They're taking on the Greyhounds tightly. We'll change up the halftime interview next week. Still have one, but it will be with a different sport athlete. One of the Fraser Commodores is there's DeShields. He has nowhere to go. Breaks one tackle. Here comes Keandre over the 20 and taken down from behind by Colton Lee. Keandre DeShields showing off the finesse. Doppelhauer joins Colton Lee on the stop. 9:48 remaining here in quarter number 3, Laurel Highlands. First offensive possession. We'll see who the QB is. It's been a number of different rotating arms. We've seen Johnny Duke warming up at the break. And Rodney Gallagher was warming up with him. It is Rodney Gallagher in at quarterback.
Goes down and 10 for the Mustangs from their own 24.
Gallagher in the gun, 2 receivers each side. Black the back. Gallagher handoff. Fakes it, rolls near side. Rodney cuts to the middle, spinning. Flag flies as Rodney Gallagher stood up at the 29-yard line. Mount Vernon winning in the trenches in this game, as was really to be expected, and that's the big thing, as a holding call on the Mustangs will march them back and will replay first down. But, Mount Vernon gave up one long drive to Laurel Highlands. A lot of them were aided by penalties. And in the first half, just 12 total yards from scrimmage for Laurel Highlands. Keandre DeShields had a 11-yard reception. They did have some other positive plays, but a lot of negative tallies as well to the ledger of the Mustang. As handoff near side, bouncing it out the back, as that's Tucker getting over the 25. As Jaden Tucker gets past the initial line of scrimmage and more, setting up second down and what would have been better for Laurel Highlands than if that penalty was declined. And still no Quinton Martin limped off during that last offensive sequence, as there goes Evan Polott punishing Rodney Gallagher as a tackle for a loss by Evan Polott. Another one of the multi-sport athletes the Leopards have on their roster. Evan Polott also plays for Joe Salvino's basketball team. Joe Salvino, of course, picked up his 700th career win this past season with the Belle Vernon Leopards. That was a team that fell to Montour in the semifinals. Oh, so close were they as well. Gallagher, pressure coming, steps up in the pocket, fires, looking to Shields, almost intercepted. Adam LeCarte over the top. Keandre DeShields wants the flag. He will not get it. And the coaching staff absolutely livid on that one, as Keandre DeShields was all sorts of tangled up. Rodney Gallagher frustrated coming to the sideline as well, as they'll send out Harry Radcliffe. As Doppelhauer will go back deep, it appears, as Quinton Martin not in the field, so they had to figure something out. As Radcliffe gets this one away, high end over end, doesn't go much of anywhere, bounces at the 50, takes a leopard roll to the 45. And that's where Belle Vernon will regroup and look to invoke the mercy roll. 8:08 remaining in the third. The Belle Vernon Leopards. First game of the season showing there is no rust. So they'll take on the Laurel Highlands 45. Fourth time they've started in Laurel Highlands real estate. One time they started at their own 49. So Belle Vernon been in LH real estate almost all evening. Man in motion, handoff and whistle blows, as Tanner Stever was looking to a little bit of an end around there. as he was looking for Anthony Cruz, the sophomore. False start on Bell Vernon will march them back 5 yards, 28-0, 8:07 remaining.
First down at 15.
Tanner Stieber, he's maintained the helm at the quarterback position here in half number 2. Braden Locke's got an excellent job leading the Leopards to a 21-0 advantage at the half. It's Anthony Cruz in the backfield to the left of Stieber. Pressure off the edge. Gallagher picked up by the back Cruz, and it was a quick hitter to Rakonen, who will slide forward for a gain of 1, bringing up 2nd down and 14. But a great job there by the sophomore back in Anthony Cruz, picking up the blitz by Rodney Gallagher. Bell Vernon manhandling Laurel Highlands in the trenches. Bell Vernon knows what that's like to have go the other way. As Rakonen in motion, that's what happened with TJ for so many years until last year. Thomas Jefferson won the line game, and they won the game. Bell Vernon's won the line game here tonight, and they are dominating this one as here's Doppelhauer off the completion by Stieber, and he'll step out of bounds 2 yards past the initial line of scrimmage on Cole Doppelhauer's first grab of the game. Another sophomore seeing action. Another young player to be excited about for Bell Vernon will be Curdy Wade. Talked about him earlier. Him and Diabre, Lightfoot, 2 freshmen that might see some time throughout the course of the year. We already have seen Diabre play in this game. Moody in the Wildcat. 2 receivers near side, 1 far side. Moody gets the snap. Doppelhauer opens the lane over the 40 down to the 39. And that's where Tanner Moody is knocked down with 7:05 remaining in a rolling third quarter clock. Going to bring 4th down and 4 for Bell Vernon.
Gain of 2, 4th down and 4.
Bell Vernon has punted just 1 time tonight, and it will not become a second with the ball lying on the Laurel Highlands 39. Tanner Stieber under center. Near side, Colton Lee. 2 receivers far side as the Mustangs jump. As encroachment is the call on Laurel Highlands, and Bell Vernon will pick up the first down the easy way on 4th and 4. And great news if you're a Leopard fan or just a good human being in general. Quinton Martin back on the field for Bell Vernon. So great to see Quinton come back out. Tanner Stieber in the gun. Quinton Martin to his left. Low snap, handoff, Martin. They're looking to make something out of nothing, and Quinton Martin will wrestle back to the initial line of scrimmage before Lehue stops him and wrestles him down to the turf. Great job by Leland Lehue and Lucas Ferens, who joined in as well.
No gain on play, 2nd down 10.
Quinton will head back out after 1 carry. Most likely 28-0. You won't see him again. I think that just might have been, hey, see how it's feeling kind of thought process by the Bell Vernon Leopards. 2nd and 10 now. Cruz the back to the left of Stieber. Stieber, quick throw out to Lee. Lee behind the initial stick, and he's slammed down by Keandre DeShields. As Keandre DeShields read that beautifully. As my old colleague would say, Matt Vandrak, who I got so accustomed to working with, Keandre DeShields read that easier than a Dr. Seuss book.
3rd down 12.
5:15 remaining here in a rolling third quarter clock, 28-0. Leopards looking to add more on 3rd down and 12. Locks to throw, dart over the middle, in and out of the hands of Tanner Moody.
Pass intended for Moody, yet complete.
An absolute dart just led Tanner Moody a little too far, and it's 4th down and 12 with 5:03 remaining here in the third, excuse me. As Locks will stay in. Second snap at the quarterback position for Braden Locks here in this one. Colton Lee lines up near side, 2 backs in front of Locks, man in motion. Chase Rakonen comes to the near side, leaving Pollard on an island far side. Locks, pressure coming, and he can't escape. Down he goes as the defensive line of the Mustangs break through. As Locks is slammed down. As breaking through for Laurel Highlands on the play was Roman Haskins, the freshman. As the 6'5" Braden Locks could not escape. And Laurel Highlands will take over on their own 48-yard line. All started with a great sequence by DeShields for that TFL and then turn things over as Gallagher back in the gun. Gallagher has time, rolls near side, pressure coming now. Gallagher lofts one down. DeShields hauls it in. Keandre DeShields, first down and more into Leopard real estate. Perfectly placed ball by Rodney Gallagher. As Diabre Lightfoot forces him out, but Rodney Gallagher finds Keandre DeShields. First down, Laurel Highlands. Gallagher looks for more. Gallagher loads up DeShields again. Got it again. Keandre DeShields breaks the tackle, spins away. DeShields down to the 5. Keandre DeShields hooking up with Gallagher once again, but Laundrie just off the Leopard sideline. Rodney Gallagher and Keandre DeShields giving the Mustang faithful something to cheer about. But wait to see what this flag is. 2 flags, actually one stands around the 35, the other just inside the 25. Not necessarily easy to see on this gold turf. And it looks like they're going to go too many men on the field for Bell Vernon, so Keandre DeShields absolutely knifing through the Leopard defense. Ball lies on the 11-yard line. Two pass plays, 41 yards from Gallagher to Keandre DeShields. First and 10 from the 11. Gallagher rolls left, pressure coming, fires it end zone out of the reach of his intended target. He was looking for Hunter Kuzier on the far side as pressure coming off the edge forced the quick pass by Rodney Gallagher. Cruz was on the far side applying pressure. The sophomore stepping into a bigger role with Quinton Martin not able to go right now. Gallagher in the gun, Tucker to his left. Hand off, Tucker stopped in the backfield. Breaking through is Steven Macheska. And it's going to be 3rd down and long for Laurel Highlands. Steven Macheska says no. The front 4 of Bell Vernon has been tenacious here in this game, especially inside the red zone. Tucker to the left of Gallagher, to Shields. Wilson and Kuzier far side. Rafo on the near side. Rodney Gallagher gets the snap. Gallagher rolling out left. Gallagher pressure coming. Moody gets away from him. Gallagher down. Jump ball. End zone. Batted away. Adam LaCarte knocks it out of danger. And I think once again, Quinton Martin down on the field for Bell Vernon. As great job by Adam LeCarte breaking up that jump ball with Keandre DeShields, as they're going to work on the left leg of the body down on the field for Bell Vernon. Another injured leopard, and these are both cramps, so anyone being too worried, it is a hot, muggy night. Both players are being stretched out for cramps, one in the end zone, one at the 30-yard line. But what a play by Adam LeCarte. Gallagher looking to hook up with Keandre DeShields for the third time on the drive. Unsuccessful, as Adam LeCarte able to knock it free, as Quinton Martin is able to get off the field. He was the man down in the end zone. And Tanner Moody helped back to his feet. One of his coaches fires some water on his back. Just some cramps for both of those guys, but great sequence for Bell Vernon on third down, keeping the Mustangs out of the end zone. They can get a first down without a touchdown, as the first down marker just at the 1-yard line, but a great play by Adam LeCarte. Rodney Gallagher as the Mustang offense back out on the field. Rayful and Keandre DeShields near side. Wilson far side with Kuzier. Tucker in the backfield with Rodney Gallagher. Over 1,300 passing yards a season ago for Gallagher. Been the most successful Mustang quarterback we've seen here tonight, as nearing the end of quarter number 3. As Red Hat off the field, TV timeout over. And Rodney Gallagher in the gun, Tucker to his left, 2 receivers aside. Rayful in motion, Rodney Gallagher. Gallagher gets the snap, Gallagher rolling left side again, Gallagher looking over option, pressure comes, got away from Parker Jewell. Gallagher to the near side, fires to the end zone, jump ball caught, touchdown Mustangs. Keandre DeShields from 13 yards out rips it away from the secondary. What a grab by Keandre DeShields. That was all Gallagher and DeShields that drive. As Gallagher improvising, buying time, rolled to his left, moved to his right, broke the sack of Parker Jewell, and he found DeShields from 13 yards out. As Radcliffe sends that one sailing towards the road. And it's now 28-7 as Laurel Highlands onto the board thanks to a magnificent drive by Rodney Gallagher and Keandre DeShields. The two hooked up 3 times for 53 yards. Or 54 yards, excuse me. As it's going to sound weird, I just said those two hooked up for 54 yards. Laurel Highlands went 52 yards on the drive, but due to a negative play, 2 more receiving yards for Keandre DeShields and the touchdown. (28-7) your score, 3:48 remaining here in the half. Bell Vernon will get it back. As getting some new bodies in there. Again, things different with Quinton Martin, a little shaken up, but Quinton is back there for the Bell Vernon Leopards. Diabre Lightfoot right in front of Quinton. Be the lead blocker at the 35-yard line. 3:48 remaining in the third quarter, 28-7. Bell Vernon leads as Quinton Martin the first 3 touchdowns. Tanner Moody had the first touchdown of the half, and then Keandre DeShields from Rodney Gallagher got the Mustangs on the board here this evening. A magnificent standout play by Gallagher, ripping out of the sack of Parker Jewell and finding his favorite target, Keandre DeShields, for 6. Standout style play by Gallagher and DeShields. And DM all your favorite high school standout plays to @Trib Standouts on social media. See which plays get featured each and every week, including possibly some from this game. As Radcliffe has it teed up, 3:48 remaining in the half. Harry Radcliffe, the school record holder as a kicker. Sends it away, a little blooper near side. There's Alonzo Wade. Wade up over the 30. Wade breaks through a hole. Alonzo Wade over the 40. And Wade immediately reaches for the left leg as looks to be cramping up. As Rodney Gallagher right there looking out as one of the Leopard teammates in Colton Lee will try to stretch out Alonzo Wade as Jaden Tucker dealing with the same issue on the near sideline for Laurel Highlands. As Colton Lee plays trainer. With 3:42 remaining, Bell Vernon's offense will go back to work. We saw Tanner Stieber have the reins of the offense for the entire first drive, and then in passing situations in drive number 2 of the half, it was Braden Locks getting to airmail the ball down the field unsuccessfully once he got sacked. And that's really what set that all up. It was a big sack by the freshman of the Laurel Highlands Mustangs, giving them great starting field position here in this one. And with that, Laurel Highlands took advantage of it with Rodney Gallagher after the sack by the Mustangs. Roman Haskins gave them good field position at the Bell Vernon 48, marched down the field, 54 receiving yards for Keandre DeShields on that drive, as he was the only man able to move the ball with Rodney Gallagher. As they're continuing to work out the cramps of both Jaden Tucker and Alonzo Wade. It's like also working on the right arm Alonzo Wade. Looks like he maybe got cut on that sequence. So taping up the right arm of Alonzo Wade and stretching out both feet of the sophomore linebacker. Alonzo Wade played a pivotal role for Coach Joe Salvino and the Bell Vernon Leopards basketball team. As again, just the first game of the season for Bell Vernon. Second game for Laurel Highlands in a hot, muggy night. And I made this comment last week. Was shocked that we saw, even though it was just a half of football due to some lightning last week, no cramps and no players cramping up between Elizabeth Forward and the Ringgold Rams. Again, hot, muggy nights. And we've seen that a lot here in half number 2 with players cramping up throughout the course of the contest. Bell Vernon up 28-7. We'll tell you how we got here so far on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Our MVI Live game of the week started with a 3-and-out and then a muffed snap on the punt, resulting in a Bell Vernon Raconin recovery at the LH 23-yard line. 2 plays in, they handed it off to Quinton Martin. He would take it the distance. And Bell Vernon up 7-0 early on. Then a 3-and-out forced by the Leopards. Quinton Martin would capitalize off that ensuing drive that went 55 yards, as it was a 10-yard touchdown run for Martin on 4th and 8. PAT was good. 14-0 Bell Vernon at that juncture. And that's when things started to go the way of Laurel Highlands a little bit. Didn't last too long for them. Rodney Gallagher came in at quarterback. An encroachment on 4th down gave the Mustangs a first down. 15-yard penalty, personal foul later on in the sequence. Moved the ball to midfield. And then on 4th down and 5, a beautiful hookup to Gallagher to DeShields, breaking tackles, getting the first down. And then it was eventually First down and goal from the 1 yard line. Gallagher tried the sneak on first down, no good. Second down, they brought in Duke at quarterback. He would hand it off to Pletcher. He was stopped short. And then Gallagher would try once from the left, once from the right. The Bell Vernon defensive line held, and Laurel Highlands would be held off the board. And eventually Bell Vernon would get back on the board one more time that half after a fumble by Jetico, a punt by Laurel Highlands, and a missed field goal by the Leopards. A Chase Raconen interception set up an 8-yard touchdown run by Quinton Martin as they're going to help Alonzo Wade off the field. But Quinton Martin, again, with 30 seconds remaining in the half, made it 21-0. Bell Vernon would score on their first series from offense in half number 2 after an attempted onside kick. It was a 3-yard touchdown run by Tanner Moody, making it 28-0. And then the last drive of the game, Keandre DeShields and Rodney Gallagher hooking up 3 times, going 54 yards for the first and only Mustang touchdown to this point. As Alonzo Wade has been helped off on the far side after that kickoff return, as seemed to be some bad cramps for Alonzo Wade as they were trying to stretch him out on the near side of the field. But a hot, muggy day, at least up in the booth, but pretty beautiful weather for week 1 action in the WPIAL. And of course, the WPIAL football scoreboard show coming up later this evening on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. And of course, after that, the famous round table on the network, which look forward to hopping on that once later on throughout the course of the season. As the kickoff to a busy weekend here on MVI Live, the Mo Rosensteel kickoff tournament underway tomorrow from Norwin High School. The Ringgold Rams will take on Hickory at noon, followed by the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars and Franklin Regional, then Norwin and Latrobe to cap out the evening. As Cruz in motion, low snap, Stieber picks it up, trying to make something out of nothing, and Pletcher will stop him down. Forward progress will put the ball at the 38-yard line. But Stieber able to avoid utter disaster off the low snap with 3:25 and a rolling third quarter clock, 28-7 Leopards lead.
Loss of about 11 yards on the play.
Loss of 11 on the errant snap. Martin checks back in for the Leopards.
Yeah, the ball hit him in his feet.
Also in is Zach Zelensky, excuse me, the junior fullback. Quick hitter, that's to Raconen. Raconen gets outside the number. There goes Chase Raconen. Past the lead stick. First down, Bell Vernon pitching catch. Stieber to Raconen. And after the huge loss, a huge gain and a new set of downs for the Bell Vernon Leopards. Here in quarter number 3, it's Chase Raconen finding the hole and showing off the speed. First and 10, ball in Laurel Highlands real estate.
He's way wide, so if you run, you gotta run like ice.
Stieber in the gun. Doppelhauer to his left. 3 players stacked on the near side. Stieber, quick pass, Doppelhauer off the swing, tries to bounce. Lehue says no, and back to the 50-yard line. Doppelhauer is stopped, actually going to spot it just inside Leopard territory. So another huge loss on first down for Bell Vernon as that play was blown up before it started by Leland Lehue, the 5'9" senior. As Doppelhauer will check back out for Bell Vernon. Back in will come Colton Lee. Mentioned Colton Lee, a pitcher for Coach Tony Watson in the Bell Vernon Leopards. Martin in the back to the right of Stieber. Lee near side, Raconen far side with Polot. Stieber to throw. Martin picks up the pressure. Stieber across the middle. Dangerous pass. Connects towards the lead stick. As down at the 36-yard line was Evan Polott, hauling in the third down connection.
Gain of 14 on the play. Third down and 1.
Third down and 1:30 remaining here in the half. 28-7 the Leopards lead, or in the quarter. Colton Lee near side, pull out and Rakonen far side. Martin the back, flanking the quarterback Stieber. The senior gets the snap. Martin leads the way. There's Stieber through the hole. Hurdles over the 25 down to the 23-yard line. As Tanner Stieber calls his own number and picks up the Leopard first down and much more with 1 minute and counting in a rolling third quarter clock. 28-7 the Bell Vernon Leopards lead. First 4 touchdowns of the game went to Bell Vernon. 3 by Martin, 1 by Moody, all on the ground. Quinton Martin, number 1 player in the state, number 2 athlete in the country, top 25 player overall. He's to the right of his senior quarterback, Stieber. Stieber gonna throw. Rakonen didn't get his head around quick enough. Stieber might have let that go a little too early, as Rakonen and Stieber not on the same page. In coverage for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs was Tristan McCoy. 27.5 remaining here in the third. 28-7, Bell Vernon on top. Again, stay tuned after the game. Your Highway Appliance player of the game here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Great turnout for the first Friday of September. As direct snap, there's Martin. Joel leading the way. Martin bounces out, first down and more for Quinton Martin as he works his way inside the 10 down to around the 9-yard line with 17.5 seconds remaining. 28-7, Bell Vernon still on top as Quinton Martin, again, feeling the effects of that one. Seems to be good. And as soon as he gets hit down below the waist, is feeling the effects of that one. And with a 3-touchdown lead, surprised that Coach Humbert keeps sending his 5-star recruit in Quinton Martin out there. They're going to take the quarter, it appears, for Bell Vernon with 3 seconds on the clock. And after 3 full quarters of play, your score, Bell Vernon 28, Laurel Highlands 7. It's a great day at the beach for Bell Vernon. The same can't be said for Laurel Highlands. They trail by 3 scores, possibly about to go down by 4 right here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress. The right brands, price, and advice since 1946. Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress is the Mon Valley's choice for selection, service, and savings for over 75 years. Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress. You're going to like us a lot. We guarantee it. G-Force Athletic Club free after-school youth boxing program for ages 10 to 18, located at 338 Fallowfield Avenue in Charleroi. G-Force's certified USA boxing coaches provide training in amateur boxing, running, and weight training. G-Force also provide a positive environment and Christian mentoring for our rising generations. For more information, call 202-262-0584.
Back at the beach. Jump around over the PA system, and the band and Leopard student section having a great time as Gang Green out in full force here tonight for Bell Vernon. As the Leopards are knocking on the doorstep of another score here to start the fourth quarter. Quinton Martin, the hat trick of scores. 1 for Moody, all on the ground. Rodney Gallagher to Keandre to Shields was the lone touchdown for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs here in this contest. That came back in quarter number 3. 12 minutes left of football here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Appreciate all you tuning in. And if you haven't had enough football here this evening, make sure you tune in to the high school football scoreboard show after the contest. And if you haven't had enough of me and everybody on MVI Live, tune in tomorrow for a full day of soccer. As Cruz the back to the right of Tanner Stieber, trips to the left. As waiting again to finish up the timeout here. As Aiden Johnson looked ready to go. He's taken over that tight end duty from Cole Waitman from a season ago. And Cole Waitman, just an absolute warrior of an athlete, again, playing football at IUP, but dealing with that knee injury, wrestling in the state championships, losing to another WPIL and TJ guy. It was impressive as Cruz stopped down around the line of scrimmage at the 10-yard line, as first man there was Parker Hoff. Tucker joined the party as well late for Laurel Highlands. A pair of linebackers sneaking up to stop Cruz, as Braden Locks will check back in, Stieber out. See if that means the Leopards are going to sling it around a little bit. That's kind of been the role this second half. When Locks has come in, he's thrown. Trips to the far side, the back again, Cruz, no receivers near side, blitz coming off the weak side, and there goes Cruz down to the 5-yard line, Keandre to Shields, and Leland Lehue with the stop. Third down and goal from the 6, 1 minute elapsed here in quarter number 4. As pressure off the left side, Cruz was able to get to the edge before they caught him, and eventually taken down by DeShields and Lehue. As a flag is too many men on the field again for Bell Vernon. That's going to be utter frustration for the Bell Vernon staff. It's the third substitution infraction here on Bell Vernon in week 1. So from third and goal from the 6, make it third and goal from the 11 for Bell Vernon. Polad and Rakonen lined up to the left. Cruz sidecarring the quarterback, Locks. The 6'5 junior gets the snap. Handoff, Cruz, left side. Cruz got a hole over the 5, spinning down towards the goal line. And Cruz is stopped at the 1-yard line, as the sophomore was looking for pay dirt. And now if you're Coach Matt Humbert, you got a big 6'5", 215-pound junior. You line him up under center and let him try to QB sneak it in. We've seen Locks be successful a few times with his legs here in this one. Ball lies at the 1. Locks is going to be in the gun. Cruz to his right. Rakonen and Polot far side. Locks with the draw. Locks finds a hole. Braden Locks, touchdown Leopards. As Braden Locks does indeed scamper in for 6 in Bell Vernon, gets to 34. Braden Locks from 1 yard out. Braden Locks, a methodical drive by the Leopards, and they cap it off with 6 more. 1 yard run by Braden Locks. As an errant snap, and the ball pinballs to the near side, so PAT no good. Ending the perfect streak of the Leopards' new kicker, Schwara. (34-7), Bell Vernon on top. 9:55 remaining in quarter number 4. Oh, Vernon started on their own 38, moved backwards a number of times, but you saw some big completions and some good things out of that drive if you are the Bell Vernon Leopards that you really want to build on. Not getting down after a negative play. We saw that twice in that drive. Big loss of 1 of 11, then a first down by Chase Rakonen, picking it all up and then some. And then on the following sequence, we saw a loss of 1 And then we saw a big 14-yard pitch and catch to Evan Polott. So Bell Vernon not getting frustrated when things don't go their way offensively, staying with the system, staying with the plan. Has it been pretty for Bell Vernon today? No, not at all. A lot of things you have to clean up if you're the Leopards, but you've put up 34 points. You've only given up 7. So even though you've played a very ugly, very sloppy game, you're still in the driver's seat and really dominating this one against the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Schwara will get set to kick this one off from his own 49-55 remaining in the half. EF running all over the West Mifflin Titans, and McKeesport dominating Penn Trafford. And I think an interesting thing to point out there, everyone talks about how good McKeesport is, and don't get me wrong, they are, and especially with what they're doing to Penn Trafford, but very similar score that EF's putting up to West Mifflin that McKeesport did last week. As Schwartz sends that one away back towards the goal line, Keandre DeShields has to run into it. This could be trouble, but DeShields gets it. Bounces outside away from Parker Jewell. Tries to bounce back, but Doppelhauer's having none of it. Wrestles him down in time till reinforcements join in. As Doppelhauer, a great effort there to prevent Keandre DeShields from going anywhere. Another bad starting field position sequence here for Laurel Highlands. Laurel Highlands coming off their first touchdown drive of the game, but gave it right back to Bell Vernon. We'll look to see what they can do here with Rodney Gallagher in the gun. Gallagher gets the snap, fakes the handoff, half time, steps up, got away from Macheska and another. Now he will work around Tanner Moody, around Joel to the outside. Gallagher tries to spin away, and leveling him down was Cruz on the outside. As Cruz, the sophomore, playing some big minutes here in the second half for Bell Vernon. First down and 10 from Laurel Highlands 38. Gallagher looks to throw again. Gallagher goes deep. He's looking for DeShields. He got him again. Keandre off and running. DeShields down the sideline, wrestled out by Evan Polott. As Gallagher drops a dime to Keandre DeShields. As those two have become a problem here in the second half. Gallagher to DeShields. That play started at the 33 and all the way down to the 2-yard line. Make it maybe the 3. As Gallagher in the gun. Gallagher, quick hitter. DeShields will waltz in. Keandre DeShields times 2. As Gallagher finds DeShields, and they go the length of the field in 3 plays. As the huge pitch and catch by Rodney Gallagher to Keandre DeShields on the fly route sets up the 2-yard touchdown. Radcliffe on to attempt the extra point. Hold down, kick on its way, and Radcliffe sends it sailing left, no good. The score stays put at 34-13. Keandre DeShields in for his second touchdown of the game. as Bell Vernon will look to answer right back here, as they did early on after the last Laurel Highlands touchdown drive, as that was a 65-yard completion by Gallagher to DeShields, setting up the 2-yard little quick hitter to Keandre DeShields for his second score of the contest. As Laurel Highlands went about 95 yards in 3 plays. Oh, 34-13, 9:05 remaining in the half. Back deep to receive for the Bell Vernon Leopards is Quinton Martin, as Harry Radcliffe will get set to send this one away again. As backing up a little bit to around the 25-yard line will be the Leopard freshman Diabre Lightfoot.
On to kickoff for the Mustangs is number 28, Harry Radcliffe.
Radcliffe gets set to send this one away. Last 2 drives resulted in 6 for Laurel Highlands, 3 straight scoring drives overall between the two, as Radcliffe lines this one near side. That was at Diabre Lightfoot, but out of bounds. So that will bring the ball out to some very good field position for the Bell Vernon Leopards. Taking over with 9:05 remaining here in the half. That drive for Laurel Highlands went 39 seconds. So Bell Vernon will take over from their own 35 with 9:05 remaining. See if they try to keep the ball on the ground, run some clock here. And coming up after the game, your Highway Appliance Player of the Game. As Bell Vernon looking to get back in and answer Laurel Highlands once more, but if Laurel Highlands can continue this connection of Rodney Gallagher and Keandre DeShields, it'll be a tall test for a lot of guys to go up against, as Gallagher, even with not maybe the best offensive line, knows he's athletic enough to buy time and create space and give Keandre enough time to get open downfield. Locks sends Rakonen in motion. Braden Locks gets the low snap. Quick out. There's Rakonen. Has a block. Gallagher forced down. Great job by Pullout on Gallagher, and a late flag comes in around midfield. As Rakonen first down and more, wait to see the flag on the battle between Gallagher and Evan Pullout. And reaching down at the left leg after that was Chase Rakonen. As Pullout guilty party with the hold, as it's a 10-yard penalty from the spot. And it will be first down again for the Leopards with 8:57 remaining here in quarter number 4. 34-13, Bell Vernon on top of Laurel Highlands. Ball back just inside the 30 at the 29-yard line. Locks in the gun. Rakonen near side. Pullout along with Doppelhauer. The back is Cruz. Pressure coming off the edge. Quick out Rakonen, flag again. Rakonen spins away from one, down to the 35. Maybe slid to the 36 at the original line of scrimmage. But again, more laundry on the field here in this one. And for the second straight play, Chase Rakonen reaches down at that left leg after the run. And wonder if he's cramping up as well in the latter stage of this. 8:51 remaining here in the half. 34-13, Bell Vernon on top of Laurel Highlands. As an illegal formation is the call on Bell Vernon with 8:51 remaining here in the fourth quarter. 34-13, Bell Vernon on top. As Bell Vernon marches backward for the second straight play. First down and 21 as Locks rolls left side, fires complete almost as out of the hands of his intended target, Cruz. As Anthony Cruz could not hang on the far side, Tristan McCoy applying coverage. The 5'10", 180 junior. Next week, it's Kiski at home for Laurel Highlands. 1-0 is Laurel Highlands entering play here in this one. Again, Bell Vernon looking to start 1-0 as well. Locks in the gun. Cruz to his right. Near side pull-out. Rakonen on the far side. Handoff. Cruz. Cruz has a big gaping hole. Cruz bounces it left hash. Powering forward. Pushing to Shields. Cruz out to the 45. And that's going to be close to a Leopard first down. Cruz cruising for 21. As he gets just to that lead stick, 21-yard run by Anthony Cruz. Setting up 1st and 10 for Bell Vernon. 8:08 rolling fourth quarter clock. Colton Lee near side, pull out far side. Braden Locks in the gun. One back set. Locks gets the snap. Locks looks to throw, fires one out. Off the hand, a pull out and deflected down off the hand of Rafel on the far side. As Caleb Rafel almost had the interception of Braden Locks. Unable to put the squeeze on it off the initial diving deflection by Evan Polott. 34-13, Bell Vernon on top here of Laurel Highlands in week 1. 7:51 remaining in the quarter. Locks in the gun. One back set. Receiver stacked on the near side. They're setting up a convoy for Doppelhauer. Uses it to pick up the first down by a yard. $7:38 remaining as an injury timeout as one of the Mustangs being helped off the field. That's Billy Barton being helped off by a pair of teammates, including Tristan Baker and Andrew Molyneux. First down and 10 once again, Leopards. Braden Locks in the gun. They're stacked again to the left side. Lee on the near side, see if they try to set it up for Doppelhauer again. They were looking to, but it was fumbled on the throw by Locks and makes something out of nothing, gains about a yard as Braden Locks had that ball just fall out of his hand when he got set to throw to Doppelhauer. As now limping off is Brad Smith. And the big 6'1", 355 defensive tackle. Seen him shaken up a couple times tonight. You know, maybe a different year, maybe a different man in the uniform, but we've seen Number 1 in green makes some plays tonight as Braden Locks will look that direction again. Fires into tight coverage, and Doppelauer can't hang on. Tristan McCoy all over Doppelauer on the far side, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and 10 for Bell Vernon with 6:36 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Bell Vernon's only taken 2.5 minutes off the clock. A lot of passing here in this one. And a timeout called by Bell Vernon. I think that might be one of those avoid a penalty by the Leopards. There's almost maybe too many men on the field again. We'll take a break, come back, and have the conclusion of this one for you right here on MVI.
Make Dogs Sports Bar and Grill your place to watch football this season. We have the Mon Valley's best seats in the house. 9 10-foot big screen TVs, wing specials every Sunday noon to 4 p.m., pizza and flatbread specials all day Saturday for college game day, Monday night football burger specials, and you can watch all the Thursday night NFL games here at Dogs in the Walmart Lowe's Plaza in Bell Vernon.
Back here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. 34-13, Bell Vernon on top of Laurel Highlands. 3 first-half touchdowns by Quinton Martin got the Leopards out to a 21-0 lead to start the contest. Bell Vernon would add 1 with Moody going up 4 scores. That's when Gallagher and DeShields would eventually find pay dirt for the first time, making it a 28-7 game. Bell Vernon would add 1 more by Locks, and Gallagher and DeShields would team up 1 more time. And that's where we sit at 34-13 as there's the jet sweep. Here comes Anthony Cruz. Cruz bounces it outside, and he stopped at the initial line of scrimmage. Rodney Gallagher on the stop from the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Clock continues to roll. It's 6:20 remaining here in number 2.
Hey, make sure we get someone for Zoe in the punt.
4th down and 10 for Bell Vernon. 22 seconds on the play clock. Schwera will get set to punt this one away from his own 40-yard line. Schwera sends this one away as pressure was coming. There's Gallagher fielding it at the 15. Rodney Gallagher tries to bust it outside, gets to the edge, and eventually hauled down on the far side by Parker Joel. And Laurel Highlands will take over at their own 25-yard line. .5:43 remaining here in the contest. Ball on the Laurel Highlands 25, trying to make this one look a little closer. And you got to imagine something has to be done about Keandre DeShields. Rodney Gallagher and Keandre DeShields have absolutely started to find a rhythm here in half number 2. Some cycling around and shifting of position. DeShields, they're going to move him to the near side, so he's going up against Anthony Cruz instead of Polott. See if that's a mismatch. Gallagher still looking far side and has a man, but overthrows him down the far sideline. Rodney Gallagher was looking for Anthony DiCenzo. Second down and 10. Keandre DeShields did have some room to work with on the near side with the freshman Anthony Cruz guarding. 5:36 remaining here. Half number 2, 34-13. Bell Vernon on top of Laurel Highlands. Gallagher steps up. Gallagher's going to take off. Rodney over the 35, and he stopped at the 36-yard line, as that's a first down for Rodney Gallagher, and Laurel Highlands moves the change with 5:25 remaining.
Gain of 11 on the play, first down Mustangs.
Rodney Gallagher seems to be a little bit of a confusion, and I can understand Rodney Gallagher wanting a right tackle out there, as that's what they were waiting on, as Rodney Gallagher didn't want to snap that ball without his right side protected. He will snap, he'll throw right. DiCenzo has it over the 40, down to the 45, and will be knocked out at the 46, and the flag comes flying in late, possibly a hit out of bounds on the Bell Vernon Leopards. 4:44 remaining, fourth quarter, 34-13, Bell Vernon rolling here in week 1. As Roman Haskins back off the field, he was the man who came in to play right tackle. 5-yard penalty after the first down grab by DiCenzo, sideline interference. It is a 5-yard penalty, being the result of a second infraction on Bell Vernon here in this one.
First down and 10.
Gallagher in the gun, trips near side, one receiver far side. Hasn't looked the way of Shields yet this drive. Now he is. Gallagher stops up, pressure coming, got away from Doppelauer, now away from Macheska. Gallagher fires across the body, finds DiCenzo again on the far side, and it's another Mustang first down in the Leopard real estate down at the 33-yard line of Bell Vernon with 4:32 remaining. Gallagher, so good at improvising, could have went down twice. Was able to get away from Doppelauer, able to get away from DiCenzo. So shifty with that football in his hands. Makes something out of a negative play. Quick hitter, there's DeShields. Keandre jumps over his own man, gets down to the 29-yard line as Keandre DeShields makes it second down and medium for the Bell Vernon Leopards. Chase Rakonen a little worse for the wear. After that tackle, we've seen him maybe dealing with some left leg cramps, but fighting through it. DeShields guarded again by the sophomore Cruz. Does Gallagher look that way? He has his eyes locked. DeShields goes up, adjusts, got it again. Touchdown, Keandre DeShields. Make it 3 for DeShields. What a play, adjusting and hauling it in. Laurel Highlands on the board again. Keandre DeShields, sensational. Rodney Gallagher and Keandre DeShields have brought the Mustang offense to life. 29-yard pitch and catch, Gallagher to DeShields. Radcliffe to attempt the PAT, missed the last one. Kick is on its way, and the kick is knocked through by Radcliffe. So Laurel Highlands marches down the field again, going 75 yards in just around a minute 45. Keandre DeShields, an incredible catch over Anthony Cruz. You talk about how impactful Quinton Martin is offensively. Talk about defensively. No one to guard Keandre DeShields. Martin went out. The Laurel Highlands offense has started to operate on all cylinders. Yeah, does a lot of it have to do with Gallagher moving to quarterback? Absolutely, but when you don't have Quinton Martin on the outside anymore, it makes life a lot easier, as Quinton Martin will hobble back out for the kickoff. And I think the reason they're doing that is just decoy, keep it away from Martin, but noticeably limping his way out to the 15-yard line.
On the kickoff of the Mustangs.
Oh, move that second line up. Move that second line up. Move the second.
See if an onside kick by Radcliffe. He's already put a beautiful one down. This one he'll jar right at Adam Lacarte, and that one just is absorbed by the multi-sport athlete in Adam Lacarte, as no bounce was given to Radcliffe there off the beach turf. And Bell Vernon will take over with 3:56 remaining in the half. Both teams 2 timeouts left. (34-20), Laurel Highlands trailing Bell Vernon, fourth quarter. Leopard offense back to work under the operation of junior quarterback Braden Locks. BV taking over at their own 45. 3:56 remaining, handoff, Cruz. Cruz bounces it outside, Cruz gets the numbers, goes up, and is slammed down by Rodney Gallagher. As Cruz tried to go up, there's a reason hurling not allowed in high school football, but kind of let it go there. Cruz tried to get up, and Gallagher shows why that can be so dangerous. Cruz picks up 2. He's carried the workload since Martin went down. We actually haven't seen Jake Jedico in a long time either. Rolling out, Steven Macheska starting offensive tackle on the far side, is trying to maybe work a cramp out on him. Colton Lee guarded now by Gallagher on the near side. Pullout far side as Rafel on him. Locks takes it himself. Braden Locks pushing his blocker forward. Locks over the 50 down to the 47-yard line by Braden Locks. Bring third down and short. Clock continues to roll. 3:32 and counting here in the fourth quarter. Bell Vernon up by 14. Braden Locks, very athletic, 6'5", 215. Was the 7th man for the Bell Vernon Leopard semifinalist basketball team. Actually saw his role increase along with Alonzo Wade, who's out with an injury right now as well for Bell Vernon down the stretch. 3:05 remaining. First down would be big if they can get it. Handoff, Doppelhauer bounces far side. Rafel stuffs him after a gain of 1. What a read by Caleb Rafel, the senior, and a timeout called. That's Laurel Highlands using their penultimate timeout of the contest, down by 14, 2:54 remaining. 4th and 1. And you know, it is decision time for Matt Humbert. On the Laurel Highlands side of the field, do you pin them deep? Very similar situation that West Virginia found themselves in last night, except they were only up by 1 score. 4th and short, do they punt it away, try to pin the Mustangs deep, make them drive the length of the field, which they've been able to do with relative ease this half with Gallagher into Shields, or do they decide to put the trust in maybe Braden Locks? Again, 6'5", 215. Not an easy man to bring down, especially when you only need 1 yard. We've seen them go for it. 4th and 1 from the 1 yard line, or 4th and goal from the 1 yard line. They trusted Locks to get it, and he did earlier in this one. That was from the gun even. Don't see the kicker Schwara out there, so it does indeed look like they're going to put their trust in quarterback Braden Locks. 4th down and 1. Locks could seal the deal with the first down. Just 1 LH timeout remaining. Locks gets the snap, it's low, takes it himself, powers forward, first down, Bell Vernon. Braden Locks calling his own number and picks up a game-clinching Leopard first down. 1 timeout remaining for Laurel Highlands. 2:40 remaining. Bell Vernon going to be in no hurry. Wind that play clock down as much as you can and keep the ball on the ground. Keandre to Shields and Rodney Gallagher's valiant comeback effort. Looks like it will be for naught. They did score the final 2 touchdowns here of this contest. Locks, empty set, will take it himself again. Braden Locks sees part. There he goes. Braden Locks. Nobody's going to get him. Touchdown, Bell Vernon. Braden Locks from 44 yards out. And Bell Vernon, the dagger to the Mustangs. Braden Locks' second rushing touchdown of the game, puts Bell Vernon to 40. Braden Locks followed the block of the offensive line. The seas parted. And Braden Locks finds Pater once again. Showing the big 6'5" man has some wheels as well. Schwera sends that one up and in through the uprights. And Bell Vernon hits 41. 41-20 in favor of Bell Vernon. PAT was again good by Schwarz. Bell Vernon marched from their own 45. And Braden Locks back-to-back huge plays for the Bell Vernon Leopards. As Braden Locks a 4th and 1 conversion. Basically icing the game there, and then looked like Bell Vernon was just going to try to run out the clock, but Braden Locks had the seas part and went for 44 to make it 41-20 in favor of Bell Vernon. As Schwarra will get set to kick this one off and possibly send us in our final drive of the evening. And next week, MVI Live Game of the Week goes to Perryopolis as the Monessen Greyhounds make the trip to Commodore Stadium to take on the Fraser Commodores. Monessen should have their way most likely with the newly entered 1A Commodores moving down from 2A under a new regime. Very similar style offense that the McKeesport Tigers run. They were on the road at Mapletown tonight. But Mike Shannon, the new bench boss there for the Commodores. An assistant on the staff last year, so we'll have them next Friday. Full week before that, and again, we'll get kicked off tomorrow. Mo Rosensteel Kickoff Classic, 3 games here on the network. So hope you tune in for that and join Liam Bellin and myself for all the action on MVI Live. And Schwarra gets set to put toe to leather with 2:09 remaining here in the contest. Schwarra lines it up. 41-12-20. Bell Vernon leads here, quarter number 4. Schwarra sends it away, high end over end, fielded at the 20. Down the far sideline, Laurel Highlands will return. And it's DiCenzo getting stopped down around the 28, and that's where the Mustangs will take over on the possible final drive of the evening. So Laurel Highlands with 2:04 remaining here in half number 2, quarter number 4. Will start this drive from just at their own 30-yard line. Last 3 drives, 3 Mustang touchdowns. Only 1 drive has not resulted in points for Laurel Highlands this half. That was their first drive. It's been DeShields to Gallagher. Gallagher escapes, steps up. There goes Rodney off and running. And Rodney's forced out of bounds by Colton Lee on the far side of the field. He was looking for DeShields in the middle, but pressure came by the Bell Vernon front 4, as leading the charge there was Dane Levi. Now, we talked about going to Fraser next week. Dane Levi's mother, a teacher at Fraser, and the Leopards' defensive coordinator, a teacher at Fraser, and former Commodore head coach. And Mike Steve, we're just a few seats down to our left or right. I can know where my directions, apparently. It's been a long night. Long 2 nights doing 2 broadcasts by myself. But hey, nonetheless, the Leopards on top 41-20. 1:32 in a rolling 4th quarter clock. 3rd down and 4 for Laurel Highlands. DeShields and Rafel on the near side. They'll flip-flop positions. And a mismatch here, maybe Raconen on DeShields is what they wanted. As DeShields going to run it out. They'll look for Keandre, intercepted! Chase Raconen back to the 30. Rakonen breaks a tackle inside the 20, down to the 15. Rakonen powering his way to the 10. And Chase Rakonen seals the deal. He was looking for the shields, and Chase Rakonen's second interception of the game. As Gallagher tried to force it to Keandre the Shields, Chase Rakonen, night number 1 of the season, matched his interception total from all of last year. And all that's left for Bell Vernon to do is take a couple of knees, possibly, and go on your way. Chase Rakonen's second interception of the game. Rodney Gallagher was looking for his favorite target, and only the second time this half, Laurel Highlands unable to capitalize. Locks, or make that Tanner Stieber under center I formation. 2 receivers far side. Stieber will take the knee. Have to do it one more time. .44 on the clock, Bell Vernon. 41-20, they'll go to 1-0. Laurel Highlands to 1-1 as one knee's all we need. Stieber puts it down, and the Bell Vernon Leopards hang on, and they down the Laurel Highlands Mustangs here this evening by a final score of 41-20. We'll take a break, come back. Your Highway Appliance Player of the Game. And then a recap for you, and we'll send you on your way right here on MVI Live and the Triple Live High School Sports Network.
Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress. The right brands, price, and advice since 1946. Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress is the Mon Valley's choice for selection, service, and savings for over 75 years. Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress. You're going to like us a lot. We guarantee it. G-Force Athletic Club, free after-school youth boxing program for ages 10 to 18, located at 338 Fallowfield Avenue in Charleroi. G-Force's certified USA boxing coaches provide training in amateur boxing, running, and weight training. G-Force also provide a positive environment and Christian mentoring for our rising generations. For more information, call 202-262-0584.
Back here on MVI Live. 41-20 your final score. The Bell Vernon Leopards go to 1-0. They defend the beach as they had a great time this Friday night. Quinton Martin, 3 touchdowns, the hat trick. Braden Locks had himself a pair. Moody added 1 as well. And it's time for your Highway Appliance Player of the Game here on MVI Live. And we will give the honors to the aforementioned Quinton Martin, as the first half hat trick of touchdowns got the Leopards off and running early on. And Bell Vernon would not look back from there. Rodney Gallagher and Keandre DeShields did make it interesting, but not enough, as Bell Vernon was able to hang on for their first victory in their first try of the season. As we'll give you a quick recap and send you on your way so you can tune in to the WPIAL High School Football Scoreboard Show on the Triple Live High School Sports Network. And we can go home and get ready for tomorrow's day filled with soccer as the Leopards go to 1-0. A 3-and-out to start, and then a muff snap recovered by Chase Rakonen in second play from scrimmage by the offense. It was Quinton Martin taking it to the left side, 23 yards out. 7-0 Leopards after another 3-and-out by Laurel Highlands. Quinton Martin would add another on 4th and 8, would take it 10 yards to the house. 14-0 the Leopards would lead at that point. Laurel Highlands would then try to make themselves relevant once again. Back on the board, Rodney Gallagher checked in at quarterback. An encroachment on 4th down gave Laurel Highlands new life, and then a 15-yard penalty on 4th down. It gave the Leopards gave the Mustangs first down and 10 from the 50, and then another fourth down on the following sequence resulted in an 11-yard first down by Keandre to Shields from Gallagher, and eventually would result in first down and goal for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs from the 1-yard line. Gallagher tried the sneak, denied by Macheska. They would try again with a new quarterback. Duke would come in, handed it off to Pletcher. He was stuffed short on the left side. And then Gallagher tried once from the left, no good. Once from the right, he was denied again. And Bell Vernon forced the stop down at the 1-yard line, as Bell Vernon was able to keep it 14-0 at that point after back-to-back 3-and-outs. Bell Vernon looked like they were in business once again after a 17-yard completion. Locks to Rakonen. It was a fumble by Jetico. Pletcher with the recovery, and Laurel Highlands looked like they were going to be in business with their best starting field position of the contest, but a 3-and-out and an interception on the following sequence by Sotis by Chase Rakonen would set up a Quinton Martin 8-yard touchdown run. That was the hat trick for Quinton Martin and sent us into the half at 21-0. Bell Vernon would come back out and score to start half number 2 as well, as an onside kick attempt was recovered by the Bell Vernon Leopards' Alonzo Wade, and it would eventually result in a 3-yard Tanner Moody touchdown run, 28-0 at that point. Laurel Highlands would have to punt on the ensuing drive. Bell Vernon would then turn it over on downs, and then the Rodney Gallagher, Keandre to Shield show became a thing of beauty. 2 passes put Laurel Highlands from their own 48 down inside the red zone. 2 passes, 41 yards. Gallagher to the Shields, and eventually would be capped off with a 13-yard touchdown pass. Gallagher to Keandre to Shields for Laurel Highlands' first touchdown of the game. But the Leopards would answer right back. It was Braden Locks 1 yard out on 4th down and 1, 34-7 after the botched snap on the PAT, as Bell Vernon would go back to work defensively. But Laurel Highlands once again would find pay dirt, 65 yards. Gallagher to the Shields. And then on the next play, it was a 2-yard swing pass out to Keandre to Shields, as just 36 seconds ago, 75 yards for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs made it 34-13. And after a punt by the Leopards on their next drive, Rodney Gallagher would get his Mustangs ever closer as a 29-yard catch. Incredible adjustment by Keandre to Shields. That would make it a 34-20 game, but that's as close as it would get. On 4th and 1, Braden Locks on the ensuing drive would power his way forward for a first down. Very next play, with the game sealed, Locks would find an opening as the C's part. Braden Locks, the junior, took it 44 yards to the house, making it 41-20. Bell Vernon. Laurel Highlands had a chance to make it closer, but no avail, as Chase Rakonen would rack up his second interception of the game, capitalizing this one off with a nice bow. 41-20, Bell Vernon 1-0 on the season, as they are victorious over Laurel Highlands, 41-20. On behalf of everyone here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network, I'm Alex Lyons saying thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow for more action on MVI Live with the Mo Rosensteel kickoff tournament. Your final score, one final time, Bell Vernon 41, Laurel Highlands 20, right here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Have a great rest of your Friday and great weekend, everybody.